it did, you little jerk! What's going on, Jerk Faces? Welcome to another brand new episode of the Circle of Jerks podcast, and we are back in person. It's been a little while. We got Andy with us. Good to have Andy here. And returning guest, I think a fan favorite, Val. What's going on, buddy? Well, we do love your stories. We tend to, we always are belly full of laughter when you're around. But we're not only just having some story time with Val, we are going to be talking about a really great movie from 1927 called Metropolis. And not only is the film really good, but the story and how the restoration of this movie came together is equally as fascinating. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about how we came to the film, what we think of it, and some of the backstory. So, but why don't we do a little catch up with you, Val? How have you been, man? It's been a little while.
Oh, dude, I mean, I've been all right. Working.
Yeah.
It's been a tough year. The beginning of the year, my dad passed away.
Yeah.
But he left me with a whole lot of good. He left me good. I was able to sit my but yeah, other than that, man, I've just been working. I got my junk removal company.
That's right.
Oh, nice. Still working on the post office. And then investments. And it's been working. And my dad left me to do drugs.
Oh, hell yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Coming through one last time.
I know, dude. Yeah, for real. He hit a homer and he was like, yeah, I got to take care of my boy. So, yeah, rest in peace, my boy. I'm sure he's still looking down on me. Showing me all kinds of
Damn right he is. Yeah, sorry to hear that he passed on, but I'm glad that you're doing all right with that, and good to have you back.
Yeah, glad to be here. You told me that you were like, hey, I was like, oh, Metropolis, and the podcast, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually the first one that we're, because we've been doing this, we've been continuing the podcast, but it's more remotely through like, Zoom or whatever. Yeah. So you're like the first one that we're actually doing in person.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. He's like, oh, we might do it remotely. And I was like, dude, I'm the worst way to do it. I was like, count me out on that one.
Right.
I was like, dude, I don't know how to do none of that Skype, none of that. I was like, I'm not good with it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, cool, we'll see what we can do. I was like, all right, if you can get me in person, okay, cool. Because I was like, I don't know how to function on this.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been because sometimes now we've been doing it with some people that are they're not necessarily within Los Angeles, or it's just easier because travel, stuff like that. Where we've been doing it more remotely.
Especially with gas now.
Yeah. And not because we're scared of COVID. Like there's no mask here. Like fuck all that shit. No, we're not scared. That's not the reason. It's more logistical reasons. People not able to come or they're across. We have friends in San Diego, across the country, and stuff like that. So, but it's doing it in person is just so much better. I like to be able to.
Yeah, me too. Man.
Yeah,
share
something to be. There's something said to be just like sitting across from somebody and seeing like the body language and just like how
the vibe is different.
Yeah, the vibe.
Hell
is
yeah,
different.
it is.
Robert did send me on a lot of blues chase this morning.
Oh, okay, I made a mistake. I sent him to the wrong area to.
You sent me 2 streets that are parallel to each other.
It's right.
It's so dumb.
And I should have caught it earlier because I'm a mailman.
And you're a carrier too, right?
Well,
So you know them streets.
See,
See,
that's the problem. I'm a clerk. You're a carrier. You're dumb. It's okay.
Hey, screw you. I'm going down Sherman Way and I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, Sherman Way and asshole. Wait. They're parallel to each other.
I got my S streets mixed up. I'm sorry.
No, I look for the bad one when it's on Zapata. I was like, oh, come on, man.
My bad, dude. That was my mistake. But
Stands are clear.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll do that.
Keep staying where it's safe, boy.
Yeah. Stay inside now.
No, it's good to have you back. How did you come to, because when I was talking about, we were thinking about doing a Metropolis review, you perked up, right away. Well, how did you first come to Metropolis?
Well, I've always been interested in cinema, from the get, you know. And every time like I would look into how the movies are made, or like the history behind like Hollywood, like at how everything started. Right? You know, it's like one of the first motion pictures was, because it was a motion picture. They have that horse running the track.
Yeah, right.
Every time they ran through the camera, it would set off a tripwire.
Right, so it was taking like it was like
photo frames.
Yeah, photo frames. So they took that and they merged it together.
They actually made a watch on that, and it's a beautiful watch, but it's like $400,000. Yeah, it's a beautiful watch, and you can see the horse running through the watch.
Oh, okay.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. And it's funny because all this started, like literally all this started because one guy placed a bet with another guy to see if horses galloped or if all four.
Oh yeah, the thing, yeah.
I
think that's what it was. Like, because they couldn't understand, they couldn't understand the mechanics of how horses like moving, and so
exactly.
and so when they actually took, spliced all those frames together, they saw that like all four off the ground.
Yeah, and then so he won the bet, and he started something that nobody knew was gonna
blow up.
Yeah, game changer.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I've always been, really excited to like see history itself.
Right.
It's history itself.
And we went from cave paintings to hieroglyphs to motion.
Yeah, it's a motion picture, and and then like now it's just a memory that's being able to watch many people. And so I've always been really interested in that stuff, and even more when something gets lost from a picture, Metropolis. They couldn't find the whole runtime itself is whatever.
It's something like that. It's the original cut from 1927 was like 2.5 hours long, and after like that first like night or two, they already started cutting it because it was a bomb. It cost them like 5 million Reichsmarks to make. It made $75,000 back, which is a fucking. It's terrible. But I look at it and it's like I think what Fritz Lang was trying to do. He created something way ahead of its time. This grand epic tale. I mean, this is we love our like sword and sandal epics. We like stuff like Cleopatra, Ben-Hur. This is like all of that before any of those movies came to be. And
you gotta look at you also have to look at the special effects.
Those intertitle cards are amazing. That those interactive intertitles where it's like there's no voice sound, but like you feel like, oh shit, like we're Moloch. It's it almost hits you in the face. That's the
because you see these movies that are game changers. For instance, American Werewolf in Paris. That one was one of the first movies to actually have someone morphing into the
right. Yeah, like especially like the body shot, like all of a sudden like expanding.
Yeah,
and then his mouth is coming out. Like when you see videos,
yeah, those transitions.
Yeah, those where you're like someone literally took the time to be like, okay, let me make this happen, and then
practically.
Yeah, and then people saw it and was like, okay, I got a problem. Like now I can do that, but how can I do it better? So it just
it's one-upsmanship.
Yes, exactly. And then it's a stepping stone for everyone else that comes after. Right. So this is one of those movies where it was like.
I mean, more recently, like with the whole Matrix stuff. Like, now, like after the Matrix, like there wasn't a movie that didn't have like the slow motion, like the bullet time thing.
Yeah. Well, people
shot.
People will invent technology to do things. Like it's like we're like, how can I do this better than that guy did it? They're inspired by a movie. It's like I'm going to do it better than he did.
Mm-hmm.
I look at things like we just did a review of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and there was technology that was developed specifically for that movie to do the practical effects. This is before CGI, all that stuff. It's like, oh well, okay, we're just going to do it this way. We're going to invent like a special type of camera or this special type of thing to do this. James Cameron has been noted to develop camera technology like to do different things like. Now, Avatar is a shit film, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, no.
And he developed a special 3D camera. So whereas most 3D
kind of like because usually you have to shoot first, and then like the computer graphics has to go in and like add in like kind of the computer generated stuff. James Cameron made a camera where like it does all that already. And so like you can see kind of like
and it looks natural because. Whereas like normally, like I can't watch 3D movies normally because I get this giant migraine watching them. It hurts my brain. But this is the one movie where I'm like, this is how, if you're gonna do 3D movies, this is how you film them because it doesn't hurt my eyes. It looks good. The movie it doesn't hold up. I think it's too much of a retread off of like 4 different other films.
Yeah, I mean.
It Dances with Wolves and Fern Gully.
It's on and on and on.
But I can't argue that it visually looks amazing. It's a masterpiece.
But then again, it's like a lot of these movies are just remakes of past films, man. It's like I think
they're referential.
Yeah. I mean, everybody gets you could build off of reference.
I mean, that's all art is.
And make it.
There is a difference between where you are copying somebody and where you're honoring something.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's very little that's being necessarily done that's brand new, no one's ever done this before.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times where a movie is honoring something that it's a good thing. I just watched The Machinist the other day, from 2004, I believe, with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Now that movie does a lot of things that honor Alfred Hitchcock. The score, and certain of the psychological elements to it is very Hitchcock-like. But I wouldn't say that it's copying Hitchcock or it's just like, oh well, we have no idea, so we're just going to do what Hitchcock did. Yeah. No, they did their own thing. They put their own spin on it.
Yeah. I like to see that. Like, I mean, there's movies that you see and I see that, and it comes from another movie.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, just the example, like Lion King, that's just Hamlet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's.
It's like that's what I'm saying. Like you get certain films, and you see them, and you're like, I mean, everything comes from reference. Like everything, and everything that's being done now. It's just, I think, to me, it's like, okay, how can I take this and make it my own? Mm-hmm. It's not something that's innovative, right? It's not, because I feel like if it can be done, it has to be done.
Right. It's like creating like tires, but you just add spinners.
Yeah.
You don't
just changing the rim.
Exactly. You don't formulate some new new formula for the rubber for the tire. You just add spinners.
It works.
Well, I'm glad you bring this up about how a lot of stuff is referential material. Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, we watch Metropolis. There's a ton of biblical references in the film. There's also a lot of occultic stuff in there as well, which. There's something weird going on with the German films at the time, they're Nosferatu and this film. Yeah. There's a lot of occultic Dr. Caligari, I believe, has some occultic messaging in there too. But the fact that movies tend to copy off one another. Well, guess what? Metropolis wasn't original in a lot of ways, and so many movies have taken reference off of this. We're looking at Star Wars. Yeah. Blade Runner, Equilibrium, and I'm trying to think of a few. There's a few others too. The scene of when the female main character, Bridget Helm's character, Maria, when she's being chased through the catacombs by a guy. Mm-hmm. Halloween, the whole being chased by this monstrous character, by that is Halloween essentially. They kind of get there's a little bit of a reference there as well that Halloween is doing, whether it's intentional or not. But yeah, this is one of those movies that is an original that so many people have taken reference off of.
And you ever saw? Did you ever see that movie Snow Train?
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. You got the, right here in Metropolis, you got the kids in the bottom, and
Bong Joon-ho. I thought of Parasite, which is Snowpiercer and Parasite are parallels of one another. Yeah, and Bong Joon-ho probably watched this film. I guarantee he did.
Yeah. Because it's like you got all the people in the back of the Snowpiercer. They eat bugs, they eat each other. It's kind of and then you got all the rich people in the front, but divided in classes.
Right. Yeah.
And who fixes the trains? The kids. They're fixing the trains. That's what their mission in life is.
Right. The purpose, to be on. Yeah, they're the whole purpose for them being on the train.
Yeah. And then it's like in Metropolis, people are working, to keep the city going. To keep the city going. So it's like they're down there, and I don't know, man. Like I think the one thing that I got out of the film was that that's how life is sometimes. That's how life is. Sometimes
be like that.
You're either a worker and you're putting in for it, or you're someone that's above the city there.
Right. I think one thing that that's lost is that it's kind of fractal because we're all of those all at the same time.
Yeah.
Because no one starts at the top.
Yeah.
Like even if you're born into a rich family, you're not born at the top.
Yeah.
So you could be and you could inherit all the wealth or whatever, but you still have to do something with it, or you have to keep it going.
Exactly.
And so we're all we're those people simultaneously. We start at the bottom and then we work our way up. Constantly, every single time.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, like with this film, because the message of the film is the bridge between like the head and the the hands is the heart.
Yeah.
And first line actually that was from his wife. His wife came up with that idea for the movie, and at the time he's like, "This is so fucking stupid. I hate." Huh?
It's an Egyptian thing.
Yeah. Well, he hated the idea, and.
Yeah,
he actually really hated the idea, but as he got older and kind of saw new generations pop up and what they're dealing with, you know what, she was 100% right. Like this is because he saw how life, how the world was developing. He's like, God, that message is actually really perfect. And in some cases, when I look at say what you will about the leader of Metropolis, Joe Friederson.
Mm-hmm.
He's terrible, he's awful, and sure, he did bad things, but I wouldn't say that he's lazy. He's constantly working. There's stuff that he's doing, and he's not necessarily compassionate to the workers, but I wouldn't call him lazy. He's not just getting fat off of what the workers are doing. In a lot of ways, they are both working for the betterment of themselves. But they just don't know how to communicate with one another, and they're when you have two factions that are separated from one another, that they have no communication. There's a lot of animosity that can ensue, and that's really the whole. And people that when that happens, there's people that come into that gap, and they start to manipulate it for their own gain. Whoever it might be, and that's where. Which we get our character Rotwang. He hates Joe Friederson because he blames. I don't know if that was that was his son-in-law. Mm-hmm. If Joe Friederson was his son-in-law or what, because I think Hel was his daughter, and the fact that she died and giving birth to his grandson. And that's where he felt it's his fault, and he blamed him, and he wanted to destroy him because of that. Or I don't know if it was his daughter or his love interest that she chose Joe over him. Yeah. That's not clear in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things are.
Yeah. But that's okay. That's not really a huge point. But there is Rotwang is the one that comes, or if you want to use the term Rotwang, or something along those lines. He is coming into, he sees this this gap between I can work in between them and I can create this animosity. There's already animosity there. Yeah. I'm just gonna set fire to it more often and kind of really ignite it. Yeah. And that's, dude, how many times has that happened in real life? Yeah. You know what movie I think of when I think of this kind of thing? is the Tomorrow Never Dies with Pierce Brosnan and like the whole that media. I forget the actor's name, but like he's the media mogul that essentially is like he's creating his own news and he's creating these fractions between countries to cause war.
Yeah.
So that he would have he would always have like he could break the news.
Yeah.
Which is
Price.
yes, yeah. He did. He used to do the Infinity commercials back in the day.
And he was the governor and dad in Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's right. Yeah.
And I mean, you might not be familiar with this movie, but Brazil. He was the.
I've never seen Brazil.
He's the bureaucrat.
Oh,
the bureaucrat main character.
I had to see Brazil.
You have to watch Brazil. It's
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it does. And interesting enough, it does take kind of like some imagery from.
Oh Jesus Christ, that's amazing. So,
but you know what? If you look at a lot of countries, it's not that.
Yeah.
And you look at a lot of
wherever there's like gaps in information, like there's always something or someone that's going to come in and.
Yeah, I mean, you got people in some countries where they're just elites at the top, and then there's just people at the bottom. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, the divide is like a chasm.
Yeah, there's no in between. There is no in between.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the Dark Ages too.
Well, you also have to think about when this movie came out too. 1927. This is the kind of like the between World War I, World War II.
Yeah.
Germany was in the Weimar Republic. It was a fucking disaster area in Germany.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, and see, this goes back to when you were saying that you get very much including real life, and then sometimes how they say, is it
Life imitates art.
Yeah,
Or art imitates life.
yeah, exactly. And it's like I think it was put pretty well into the movie, and I think that back then the reason it bombed. And I think the reason
Too real.
Like it,
It's too real.
It was like putting the truth in your face.
Mm.
Like this is what it is, and it had some great special effects. I mean, it was a huge
Yeah, the set design.
It was
everything.
building these big sets, making the
Those
costumes.
miniatures are so that whole 10-second scene of like them seeing the whole city, like the streets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That 8 days worth for a 10-second clip.
Wow.
They would move because it's kind of like that motion capture photography
Yeah.
that was done, like where they're moving. They were all those car miniatures, like they would move like a millimeter at a time, and then they did that over 8 days. Jesus, I mean, it's just for 10 seconds.
I mean, sometimes you look at these.
This movie took over a year to film.
Yeah, I think it was 17 months.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But you gotta love like the old way of doing it. It's like the old way of doing it. Like it looked so real. Like the blood, the gore. In our movies, there's a lot of gore. All that stuff looks real. The thing.
Fuck, dude.
How
Yeah, who knew Hershey syrup looked like blood?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Even in Psycho,
Dude, I love that fucking movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even in Psycho, like like all those old things when you look at the film itself, and you're like, damn, like they had a stage on that. They had to make all that. Like with Metropolis, they had to make all those stages, and then not only that, but it's like making the costume where props to Homegirl because she was bleeding. She had bruises.
She was suffocating.
Yeah.
She suffocated.
Dude, that thing is killing you, and you're still wearing it.
Yeah. I put it down.
Yeah, I would have been like, you better put some holes in this thing, like
God damn,
throw holes in the bag and throw some air in here.
Yeah.
But no.
And essentially, she's playing. She's in the robot costume. She's the one that's doing all the movements. So, like when we see the robot move, she's playing Maria, and she's also playing the Maria copy as a robot, and she's playing 3 roles. Yeah, she's.
That's what made me kind of want to like look into her as a.
Yeah, I don't know what else she did. That's the thing.
I wanna
all
see
these
what
guys are lost. That's the thing. Like
yeah.
you have
But
like.
I mean, we've lost so many black and white films. Silent films.
Well, 90% of them are lost to us. We have the ones that are still available. There's only 10% of and there was billions of those movies made. It was insane.
They used to make There was 30-minute reels that that used to go into the theaters or whatever.
Yeah.
To go. There were only like 20, 30 minutes.
Well, you look at I don't know if you've seen Singing in the Rain, but that's kind of like the idea of the transition from silent to sound, and you would look at like how they would film silent films. Like you'd have 5-6 different sets put together, like, and they're filming like 4 different movies at that time, at the same time.
Yeah.
So they had like a science. They were churning out movies. Like there was kind of the idea of like that you have your super feature film. That's like that's the top AAA feature, and then you have your B and your C picture. It doesn't whatever your serial.
Yeah.
So that was happening at the time. So there's just so much that I'm like, man, I would love to see this. It sounds like an awesome film, and it's like it's just gone, like because the way that they filmed it, it doesn't preserve well,
or archive it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't archive it. Now I know that there's a mine. I think it was salt mine.
Oh yeah, abandoned salt mine.
Yeah,
where they store all
the original films for.
Yeah.
This thing is massive. It's fucking massive.
Yeah, we have a sea vault and a film vault.
Yeah, yeah.
Priorities.
Dude, I remember who was Warner Brothers caught fire. Was it Warner Brothers or Universal? Not too long ago. They lost footage.
Yeah. Yep.
They lost footage.
I think that was Universal.
I think it was Universal. Yeah. It's like fuck, dude.
2016.
And that's where it's like it's like
that's gone.
Yeah.
That's gone, dude.
There's so many those pictures like fuck, dude. Like they're gone.
Like I think that's why this film was so important because it's like okay, we found one piece of real estate. When they were dishing them out to different places.
Let's talk about that story a little bit because it debuted in 1927, did not do well, but they I know Paramount bought like a bunch of like that company's movies so that they could bring them to the United States. And they're like, this is too fucking long. We're gonna cut it. So they made their cut.
Yeah.
It was shipped off to like other different countries too. They were cut like shorter, so there's all these different cuts that were made, and right around I think it was like the 40s or 50s. Obviously, there's a lot of political craziness at the time.
More things change, right?
Yeah, and it's like, well, hey, that's always going to be an issue at some point.
It'll always be a constant.
So they're like, they just started finding like, okay, we have this. We have the ones that are from the United States; those are preserved. So they started splicing these, trying to put the picture back together. And so you get like this other cut. Okay, now it went from 90 minutes. Now we have like another like 15 minutes of the film, and it's like they're trying to and they at the time they're like, man, I guess there's only they only thought of like there's one like original copy.
Yeah.
Not realizing that Fritz Lang actually used like 3 or 4 cameras at the same time to film a scene.
Yeah.
So there's more than just the one copy.
Yeah.
And when they started, when they were like this, there was a guy in Germany when they were putting this together. It's like, wait a second, I'm looking at this scene. There's this cat that runs by, and then in the same scene, there's also a cat. The cat doesn't run by, and it's like, oh, there's more than one copy here. And it's like at the time they're like, there's like, fuck, they didn't want to think about that. It's like, and where it should be like, oh, that's amazing. We should be looking more for it. Like they just like, yeah, we're just fucked all that. Like who cares? And so they would piece it together, and then like they started to find like. Fritz Lang took a bunch of photographs of behind the scenes footage.
Mm-hmm.
Where's this scene in the movie? Oh, what? There's all these scenes that are missing, like the whole story of like the Thin Man, who if you want, who that reminds me of? The Joker. His whole getup and his facial makeup, it's a Joker.
Yeah,
he's the Thin Man is the Joker.
Looks like with the dark colored lip.
Yeah.
Original Joker.
But yeah, that whole storyline was lost, or they thought was lost. But then as they started to discover like more stuff, it's like, okay, now we find another reel of stuff. We found another 10 minutes of footage, or another 5 minutes of footage, and then you get another cut of the movie.
Imagine how exciting that must have been.
It's like you're
that
just.
must have been exciting, dude.
It's like they're just. It's like this like
frustrating.
It's frustrating and exciting at the same time because they would go because one of the guys that was helping.
finally got the piece, and then all of a sudden like something else comes out. Oh, shit.
Because
Oh yes. Yeah.
yeah, like because one like
Yeah,
a lot of these guys behind the restoration of the film, it's like, people ask me like, oh, how long did it take you to put together? It's like I can't answer that. It's not like it took 14 years or it took 8 days.
Yeah.
There'd be years where we'd have nothing, and then I would have a couple days. We'd hear this thing, we'd get some stuff, and then like it would take me, a couple days here, a month here, another year there. There's no like way I can quantify like how long it took me. It's just bits and pieces over years, over decades. It's like I was a young man, now I'm an old man.
Well, it's like that movie that they what is it, Freaks?
Yeah.
There was so that movie they lost the original footage, but in the original footage they castrated it and they showed it.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's fucked up.
They castrated the guy,
man.
but everybody was like, okay, this is a little too fucking brutal.
Right.
We can't put this shit out like that. So then they took the original.
This was pre Hays Code. Yeah.
So I mean that's lost like that.
It's never coming back.
Yeah, it's never coming back. I mean, unless someone finds
Right,
something.
unless
Yeah.
someone,
But it's
copy.
like, dude, you never know, man. That's the beauty of it, where you're like, fuck.
It's kind of like how like the old school pornography is like still like pretty well preserved because it was like really a truly taboo thing back in the day. So like they hid it away like in crawl spaces and shit. Because because like they didn't want no one to know that they had it.
Oh yeah, dude.
So like,
you're
maybe
like,
maybe there's
some seen that I'm sure. Like,
no, exactly.
Showing ankle.
And even with like the sound films too, like Freaks is a sound film, but like even like the sound films, like the early sound films, a lot of those are lost too. Like so, we only have really like maybe like 75% of like the sound films left.
And it's crazy because when people were making that transition from sound film to sound, a lot of them didn't make it because they were like, okay, your voice.
Exactly. Yeah, there are a bunch of sound and film stars that just couldn't make the transition.
Yeah, they couldn't make it.
There's like you have like the rough look, kind of alpha male Chad type, and then they talk like this.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine,
Sunset Boulevard is all about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fucking dude, I love that.
It's more on the side of like like actresses, but
Yes.
That it's little quick aside. There's that scene of the actress playing like poker and stuff like that. Buster Keaton's in that scene.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta go back and watch that.
Yeah, that poker scene. Those are all silent film actors.
Yeah.
Real silent film actors, and Buster Keaton is one of them.
Shit, I can watch that again.
Yeah, it's a fucking great movie. I love William Holden. He's amazing.
Dude, but it like I said, it's crazy, to see, and that's what I love about cinema. Like that's what I love about fucking movies. Dude. It's like what we have is just a portion of like what the artists used to get.
right, yeah,
It's
have like iceberg.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more underneath, but like some of it's like too deep for us that we can never get it back.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like I know, like this film, it's like it was lost for so long, and it was able to get brought back to life, from the dedication and hard work of people. Like, okay, just like you said, okay, I saw that character. Wait, where's it going this way? So it's like, okay, now knowing that there's still, when you have people like that, and they're able to really, find the rest of the film, and show us a film that's been lost for decades. I think that's the beauty of it, And then I'm sure that there's people with reels in their house that they don't even know that they have.
Yeah.
Like, they probably just looking like, oh, that's my grandpa's old shit.
Oh, that's my great grandfather's like old like stash of shit.
Dude. And like you can
Fucking hoarder.
pop it up. I just got a bunch of metal disc over there. Throw them away. Imagine how many people did that.
Yeah, like
This is the alternate ending to Casablanca.
Imagine, dude, like how many people fucking did that shit where it was like, oh, oh, what do you have right there? Ah, it's my great grandpa's like old junk. Just throw that shit away,
Yeah.
When I was
The question mark leaves open for a sequel.
Right. Dude, when I used to work for God Junk, excuse me, I always used to like keep an eye out for shit.
Oh yeah.
Always.
When I was working at Goodwill, a buddy of mine who was kind of like one of the first to do like the whole eBay game back in the day, he always say, "Hey, you see any like high priced items? You let me know so we can come swoop in and get them." Yeah. And he gave me a cut.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude. Like I mean, at Goodwill, I got junk on me, so I used to like keep it in the job for stuff. Because sometimes when you would go up into the house and oh my god.
Yeah, they don't go to themselves.
Yeah, they were like nobody's been in the house in 1970.
You find any like movie poster stuff? You let me know.
Dude, yeah. I mean, with my company now, sometimes I go in there and clean out a house, clean out a garage and stuff. I'm like,
it's like scanning.
Because I kind of wanted to start like decorating like my place with like vintage like movie posters and stuff. Like I would love to get like I'm gonna have to probably get a replica, but I do want the fucking Metropolis poster.
Dude,
it's fucking great.
This guy.
Oh
and
yeah.
This guy had a cutout of what's his name? The guy that played in the biggest game was
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen. So he had a cutout of Steve McQueen. I was like, oh shit, you got a cutout of Steve McQueen. That's pretty cool. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, check this out. And then he shows him like fucking newspaper when JFK got shot. Like,
oh shit.
An actual fucking newspaper. I was like, oh shit. So he's like, oh, check this out. He goes in the original poster of King Kong. Dude.
Oh!
Dude,
I think Robert screamed himself.
Get
him a towel.
And I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then he was like, oh yeah, And so he's like showing me all these things, it's not original drawn poster, but it's an original poster.
Yeah, one of the
when they would hang them out in
theaters. Fuck yeah, dude.
So this dude had
that's another one I want to get.
Stuff, and I was like, what the fuck? And the house was like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, dude. Right. Like fucking falling apart, breaking down. And he was like, oh yeah, back in the day, when my dad had this, he was like, when my grandpa bought this land. So his family owned the house, and the land, and then they owned the building that was constructed across, and then they owned a couple of houses that were built behind it. So
was this house south or north of?
It was north of Toronto.
Was it in the hills or was it?
Yeah, in the hills.
Okay.
That explains a lot, yeah.
That explains it.
Dude, it was like a really small house.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you,
very unassuming.
Two bedroom, 1 bath. We walked in there and like you see all this old shit, And this is when I was starting to get into the history and everything, And then when I saw it, I was like, oh shit. So I'm like, excited. Yeah, dude. I'm like, oh shit. And then the guy's like, oh yeah, come look at this, come look at that. Like showing me all these things, dude. Fucking sick ass. Like, yeah, parties from the 70s, from like, his great grandpa, like all this shit. Dude, it was fucking awesome. And that's what I love about seeing it. It's like it makes you wonder over time.
Yeah. It's kind of like there's a similar problem that happened in Japan too, because right as Imperial Japan was kind of like at its height, there was a lot of censorship, and like they would a lot of film, and especially a lot before that regime took place, they were making a lot of silent films too. Like they were just behind America when it came to that. And it's like, but a lot of that stuff, there's like little bits and pieces, but there's a lot of that shit that's lost too. Yeah. Which I'm like, man, I would really love to, if there's any footage left, I would love to see a Japanese silent film just to see like what, like those, because they would make all these like great like samurai epics and stuff. Yeah. That's where I'm like, because I've been really diving into all that, like with, because I love Kurosawa so much. It's like, well, there's more than just Kurosawa, obviously. Yeah. There's all these other Japanese directors. Let me dive into this a little bit. And when I was watching this documentary on one of my favorite actors, Toshiro Mifune, they talked about like a lot of like what was going on with like cinema before the silent cinema in Japan. and how a lot of the restrictions that these guys went through, and a lot of shit that was just destroyed, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I would love to, if there's something out there. I had to do a little bit of research. I hope that there's some silent Japanese cinema that's out there. I would love to check that out.
That'd be awesome.
If we ever do a silent, I'll do some research, and if I can find some, we'll do another silent month and do some Japanese silent cinema.
I love horror. I love watching those movies and stuff. That's my favorite. That's my favorite genre. Horror, murder, mystery. Dude, fucking ghosts from Japan. Like
their ghost stories are fucking scary as hell.
East Asian,
shit out of me, bro. They scare the
East Asian
shit out of me.
paranormal stuff is so fucking scary.
Yeah, like I mean, the one of the first stories that I heard, Teke, I think that's what it's called, Teke. This girl, she gets run over on a train, gets cut in half. Her classmates, basically did that shit to her. So
They pushed her onto the track.
something like that, yeah. And
That
then
sounds familiar.
so now she fucking runs around, dude, on her hands.
Oh,
And that's what you hear. That's why it's called Teke. Yeah. So you hear her fucking hands.
Oh, man.
Bro,
Game
one
over.
time, One time, I'm telling this story, right? I'm telling this story to some of my homies when we were eating. We went to I forgot, some place in Ventura. And I'm telling them about the story because I had just found out about it. So we were talking. And then, as I'm talking to them, I hear like, and I was like, like, dude, I clenched my ass. I was ready. There was a lady walking her fucking dog. Like, I literally, I heard that shit. I was like, what was that? Fucking lady walking a goddamn Great Dane scared the shit out of me.
Goddamn, the fucking giant horse dog.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus.
Dude, I just found out one of my neighbors had one. I was out for my run this morning.
Those dogs are fucking huge.
It was like a small horse.
All the time.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because we don't carry any cats.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that early in the morning?
Well, no, I've seen you like certain times. I mean, not certain times, but different times. I've seen you walking around right there by Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always at the door.
I gotta go there. Like everyone, like
you'll catch me at Hamburg, like all the time.
dude, invite me next time. I'll go.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
No, it's close to my house. I'll walk over there.
Yeah, the three of us can go hang out, man. Because I love that place, man.
Yeah.
I fucking walk in there and everybody tells me
You're like the
I've been
horn.
there one too many times.
Yeah. No.
They haven't been able to carry me out. I mean, they haven't had to carry me out yet. So.
Right, for a special occasion. You're waiting for a special occasion.
Yeah.
But another piece of cinema that I discovered because of film preservation. Because we have the Library of Congress has been doing stuff to preserve film. But another guy that and as far as like the private sector goes, and he's not the only person doing this, but Martin Scorsese has been doing a lot with film preservation. The World Cinema Project that he does. I actually discovered a film recently through with them and through him and Criterion was The Housemaid. It's a Korean film from 1960.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that film was freaking amazing, and it is. When I was thinking about it, I was like, this film, if it was ever remade, I would hope that Bong Joon-ho, the guy who did Parasite, would redo it. Well, he was part of the World Cinema Project that brought this film. They restored this film, and so I was like, you know what? Nope, never mind. Don't remake it. I want it to be preserved just the way it is. I don't want it changed in any way. And for 1960 Korea, which was going through a lot of stuff at that time. What a fucking crazy movie! It's scary. It's not like a ghost story, but it's just more of it's a fucked up psychological thriller, and it's such a good movie. And it's I just discovered it by accident because I was kind of going through Japanese horror stuff like that, and for whatever reason this movie popped up, and I was like, what the hell is this movie? And I watched it, I was I couldn't keep my fucking eyes off it. It was great.
Yeah.
And to think that, all the things that were going on, this film could have been lost so easily. Mm-hmm. And because someone was like, you know what, we're just going to stuff that one in there. And because the director was well-respected, mm-hmm. I think that's what kept it from being lost. And in a lot of cases, a lot of those silent films, I think it's because in the case of like Nosferatu,
Mhm.
it's a film that's 100 years old this year.
Yeah.
We're gonna be reviewing it this year because it's 100 years old. Because of the Bram Stoker's wife, Florence Stoker, who was the producers of that film, they're like, oh no, it's not like Dracula at all. This is actual real story. It's like, no, asshole, it's not. And so of course, so he lost the case, and so Bram Stoker's wife had like a lot of legal precedents, like you need to delete every fucking copy of this movie, and like because of like people were like, fuck Florence Stoker, it's like that's why that film got preserved. That's why it still exists today.
Yes.
And it's kind of that fuck Florence Stoker attitude and I think in a lot of cases that's why like some of this stuff got preserved. It's like, fuck these people, we're gonna preserve this. Exactly. Why there's pushback, or it's just like, fuck, this is a great movie. We're gonna preserve. We need to make sure that this, we need to put this out everywhere. We need to make copies of this.
But
it's going everywhere.
Too, like I also hate the fact that it's sometimes cut or put away for some reason. It's like this one. There's going to his debate on sending it here, sending it there. Okay, we have big cuts here, we have cuts there. That makes sense. So it could be shot.
Well, there was censorship boards. There was like, oh well, fuck this. What is this epic garbage? Like, we need a 90-minute quick film, like feel good movie, and so and it's like all this stuff was like lost because of that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, though. It's like, I don't know, man. When it comes to films, I'm up there with what's his name, Quentin Tarantino. It's a fucking movie. It's a movie. It's a movie and it's art. Like,
let the people that wrote it and directed it, let them tell their story.
Yeah.
If it's a bad film, it's a bad film. If it's a good film, it's a good film.
And then that's why I'm like, I don't like film critics. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't like, but I just don't trust film critics when they
Or you don't see like what their purpose is.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having a fucking billboard in a restaurant. Why did you?
I know, why does it matter that
we didn't get the food for free.
Well, it's
or
funny.
It's a little too spicy when it says right there. This
or it was like $1.75 extra sauce.
Yeah, dude.
Well, it's funny because like I said, I bring up 2001 again. That was a film that was not well liked at all when it first came out, and the film critics that were these were prominent guys. That's like, this is a unmitigated disaster. There's nothing here,
Yeah.
But then you look at like some of their other reviews on movies, like that's they were right on.
Yeah.
Even like films where it's like people were like, oh yeah, where kind of like the whole like the critics score and the audience score, if they had Rotten Tomatoes back then, would be different.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, the critics were right on this film, but on this one they were not, and that's a lot of the cases where like film critics in a lot of ways they are. Nowadays it's like we're all kind of film critics in our own way. Like
we always were, but now we just have outlets.
We have a platform that that we didn't have before to talk about films. This is we talk about films all the fucking time on this podcast.
Because you would see back in back in the 90s, when there was no Instagram, Facebook, and all this stuff, and then you would see on the television, the number one rated film in the country.
Sister Lieber, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, so people would be like, oh shit, so and so reviewed it, and let's go watch it, and you had to hear it from word of mouth, like, oh dude, that was a good movie.
Right.
That was a good movie, So now we're able to do that with Instagram, with Twitter, we're able to do, hey look,
I talk about film on Twitter all the time.
Yeah,
that's great.
This film was fucking great. This film wasn't, And I mean, to each their own, Like I just watched Halloween. I just watched
how do you like
it? Was cheesy as fuck. I love those movies, but yeah, it was a bit much.
For horror fans are gonna probably be okay with it. Other people that are like, what the fuck is this shit?
But the thing is that like it was a little. The main character, he was, I don't know, he did a bad job. I'm telling you, he did a bad job. It was over cheesy, I don't know if they were going to fuck with it. I just didn't really rock with it. The storyline to me was, I was like, okay, I see where this is coming from. I see where it's coming from. I was following, I was like, okay, this is cool. I love watched it and stuff. But what's it called? So there was a scene in where firefighters get murdered. You know, he comes out of the house and he starts killing all the firefighters. And all the firefighters are trying to like, hey man, are you okay? You know, and this dude just starts slaughtering them.
Awesome.
There was a fucking petition to get that scene fucking removed because people were crying that, oh dude, like my dad's a firefighter or this and that. I'm like, dude,
shut the fuck up.
Fucking movie.
I know, right? It's like what if those cops would have been okay?
Yeah,
exactly. If he killed them all?
Yeah, exactly. If it was a bunch of white cops, they probably would have been clapping in the fucking theaters.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a movie. It's a fucking
It's okay.
movie,
Just
dude.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
Say
it
the
doesn't
end.
have to be representational. It doesn't have to be
doesn't-
real.
it
It's not
doesn't.
real life. It doesn't have to represent
Here's the
real
thing.
life.
Curse in your film. Say the N word. You know,
Yeah,
say do kill whoever the fuck you want to kill in the movie.
Dude.
Kill a dog. I don't care.
The other day I was watching a movie and I couldn't stop cracking up because it's called what's it called? Taco or some shit like that. Taco or fucking food truck or some shit. Or the chef, the restaurant.
Oh
The chef.
yeah, with the John Favreau.
Yes, with Johnny Depp. I mean, not Johnny Depp.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, everybody in there, you know. And then he tells him, you know, there's a part where he tells him, he's like, hey, this guy's gonna cook the best fucking sandwich of your life if you come help him lift this up.
Yeah.
He's like, or I could just call immigration. He's like, you know.
Yeah.
But he said it in Spanish, you know.
Yeah.
And I was cracking up, you know, and I was like, that's funny, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's a fucking movie, dude. Like, relax. And I'm like, what are you gonna say? You know.
Yeah, right,
shit out
yeah,
like
it's
that,
like-
you know. And see, that's the thing though. It's like, you know, when a filmmaker, when a film producer, when they do something, to me, it's art. You know, it's art in its own form. You know, that person is, you know, not out there being racist. He's not out there trying to be PC. He's not out there trying to do these things. No, it's a film that, you know, he's trying to put together for our entertainment. You know, and some people like, dude, don't you have better things to fucking do than to get these things cut out? Just like in Alien. My dad said that there was a scene, a bunch of people like that saw it the first day in theater. So my dad went, there was a scene where the alien pops out and blows the guy's fucking brains out.
Yeah.
They cut that.
Oh,
Because they were like, it was too gory.
Too graphic.
Yeah, it was, I think it was in the original Alien or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, so the first one from Ridley Scott.
Yes.
Yeah. We're like 1979.
Yeah. And they released it in theaters. People fucking moms went ape shit, and then they removed that scene. So now I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It's a fucking. I wanted to watch that. You know, I was like, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
That reminds me of something that Adam Carolla always says. It's like, just don't make it worse.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because he references, back when he was a kid, like in the 70s or whatever, you're able to go to the beach and drink a beer.
Yeah.
But because of some asshole who left the beer or like smashed the beer, and like some kid came along and cut his foot, like now you can't have beer. Now you can't have glass bottles.
Yeah.
Let alone beer after that. And now you go to the beach and there's like this huge placard thing with like all these signs with like all these rules.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's like now you've ruined the beach for everybody.
Dude, like sometimes you'll see those signs and it says the weirdest shit.
Yeah, and it's like there's stuff that contradicts itself.
Yeah.
It's like don't do this but this, but you can do it all. It's
Like, do not set any fires when cooking hamburgers.
right, yeah.
I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like, you said no fires, but no.
It's like the only one,
Yeah. Dude, no, I've seen that. Yeah.
But
I'm-
same kind of principle.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's like a film in itself. Like, it's the artist, you know, putting his imagination out there for you to see. You know, it's like putting out a memory so everyone can see your memory.
Yeah, or everyone can share that.
And I find that beautiful, you know. Like, I don't care what's in it, you know. I'm not gonna, like, I feel like people nowadays are holding those individuals that are making these movies. So, like, say someone in a movie says something racist, right? I think that they will try to hold the fucking producer
Or the studio.
Accountable because like, oh, this is racist. It's like, dude, it fits the fucking movie. Just like in Django Unchained.
There's a lot of racist
Yeah,
shit in that movie.
yeah.
Django Unchained, fucking
A lot of niggas in that movie.
Samuel Jackson told Leonardo DiCaprio, like, motherfucker, this is just another Tuesday. Like, say the N-word, you know?
Yeah.
It's a fucking movie, you know? And Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, he told him, he's like, we're not your friends. We're not your coworkers. He's like, we're, you know?
Yeah.
And then he was like, fuck. And then so Leonardo DiCaprio went in there, didn't fucking speak to nobody. He just went up in there and just started saying the N-word left and right, but that's what the fucking movie's about, dude. This dude, as a slave, he was able to free some slaves and fucking do it in a badass way. Like, what more do you want?
And it's based.
And Leonardo DiCaprio was portraying like the worst of the worst. Like
we're supposed to hate him.
Yeah, we're supposed
So
to hate him.
he is supposed to say nigger as many times as he did.
Yeah, it's a fucking.
Well, plus this is based off of it's based off of Django, the spaghetti western, and Boss, which is a blaxploitation comedy western.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and that is the real.
That
title.
is the full title, Boss Nigger.
Yeah, I know.
Have you seen that movie? It's great.
No, I haven't seen it.
You have to. I'll send you a link. You gotta watch it.
Because Quentin Tarantino, he references a lot of old movies.
Yeah, no,
he puts everything together.
Dude, just watch. Has anyone not seen the Kill Bill movies? I mean, just
so
much like kung fu,
grindhouse, kung fu, exploitation films.
The yellow suit,
the
people that come in, they got the Kato fucking suit on from
Kato mask,
Hornet and shit.
Yeah, of course.
It's see that
badass film.
You see films like that, it's such a fucking beauty to watch, and you're like, damn, this is cool, Just like with Metropolis, you look at it and you're like, wow, someone had to really think about and put together that set to make it look like it was a futuristic or some type of otherworldly fucking world.
Well, and it came from Fritz Lang and some of the people that worked on Metropolis. They came to New York City for a film premiere, and they were just amazed by New York City, and that's
yeah,
And they were taking pictures, and they were just mesmerized by what New York City looked like. And their minds started turning.
Yeah. Because that's something new, dude. I mean, people didn't see skyscrapers back then like they do now,
And they thought, especially at that time, whether you were, Christian or not, but people were biblically relevant. They knew what the Bible was. They knew the stories.
Literals.
It's and so they would see this, and it was like, what would happen if the Tower of Babel was made today?
Yeah.
And this is and that's what the fucking movie is about.
Yeah.
It's what would happen in this type of society, and there's no computers back then, obviously. So they're not thinking about computers; they're thinking about the machinery. But they're taking what they know, and they're thinking 100 years ahead.
Yeah.
What would that look like?
Exactly.
And it's there's no computers to do the work of 100 or 200 or 5,000 men.
Yeah.
It's what would it look like for the manpower to work machines to help kind of keep the city running? Because if we think about it, the computer, there's a lot of computer generated shit that runs our cities, which scares the shit out of me, by the way. But then, which if you watch Live Free or Die Hard, you should be fucking scared.
Oh,
It's but think about that. But in their eyes, they're not thinking about computers. They're thinking men working that thing.
Yeah.
So that is.
And what's funny is that now if you look at life itself, those men were replaced by computers. So it's back then it was okay, how many men will it take to run this?
So thousands of men are sacrificing themselves to Moloch, to run the city.
Yeah. And now if you look at it, if it was today's terms, that would have just been one single fucking iPhone.
Yeah.
Doing its own thing.
There's an app for that.
There's an app for that.
but they were thinking about that stuff.
Yeah,
that's what's amazing about that. They got their brains running, and it's what would that look like?
Yeah.
And so this was 1927 science fiction.
Yeah.
And
I love seeing science fiction from the past because it's
what did they get right? What did they, where were they wrong?
Exactly.
It's scary.
They were trying to predict the future.
Yeah, they were trying to predict that.
Exactly. Because I'm sure, they're not stupid. So they're following trends. And they're all right, things are becoming more mechanized.
Yes.
And so it's do we actually need all those people? And with steam power, it's then we are going to need all those people to help us shovel the coal or the burners.
Have you ever seen the concept of the first freeway that were supposed to be in LA?
I know there were supposed to be more of them.
Yeah, so there was this.
There's supposed to be one that's supposed to cut through
through Beverly Hills. Yeah.
Or
it was supposed to cut through a building, through a high rise. So they used to they made this blueprint.
I feel like there's a movie that like kind of like also talked about that, like where they did have a freeway going through there.
That sounds familiar.
Well, no, but you see like Blade Runner, you see all these other ones where like where the road goes through the buildings and stuff. So that's what their main, like that's back in like the 40s and 50s. That's what they were thinking about. Like, okay, we can make a building and we could just have the freeway run through it. And so when you need to get home, you just pull over, press a button, put your car down, it goes into the garage and you go up to your floor,
Mm-hmm.
So they were thinking about how convenient, these freeways can be. But then at the end of the day, they were like, okay, like, no, this is just a little too far ahead of our time. Like, this is way ahead of our time. We can't do it. So then that's when they started, they built the freeways and stuff.
Yeah.
But this was when they were just coming out, and so it's like then too, like they were trying to predict, like, oh, what is it going to look like? What are these structures going to look like? And that's why I like seeing old,
Old sci-fi. It's like it's
because they're like, oh, this might happen, or this might happen. Oh, the world might look like this, or the world might look like that. We got AIs, we got this, we got that.
We have Rosie the robot.
Yeah. Just don't touch me, Rosie the robot. But like back in the day when people thought about stuff, it's like it's so crazy for them to get at least a percentage of it right.
Yeah.
Like when you look at things and as like fuck, I can't remember one movie, but like you look back at some of these movies and it's like, oh shit, they thought about this back in the 50s and now it's coming to life. Oh, like Space Odyssey, actually.
Yeah, 2001: A Space Odyssey. It was written by Kubrick and Stanley Arthur C. Clarke. And then you have like you have books like Fahrenheit 451, 1984, A Brave New World. It's you have like these books that are talking about Isaac Asimov's. He has his books. You have those. And then you have like movies that are especially really blossomed in the 50s, like with the Atomic Age. You have Day the Earth Stood Still, War of the Worlds, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
But then, like I'm saying, like
Time Machine.
Those movies, it's crazy to see where they'll pop out a board, and they got these cheesy buttons on there, like and you're like, that's so stupid, But now we got we pull out our iPad. Or our phone. Yeah, you're basically doing the same shit, And I'm like, it's so wonderful to see that people back in the day trying to predict what the future was like.
Hell, Star Trek did a lot of where people were inspired by what they saw in Star Trek, and they made it happen.
Yeah, and they made it happen. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I love about whole thing.
And like, who cares like if it's real or not? Like but like what if in the future we had video teleconference? We were able to talk to people in a video format, like from long distances. Yeah, that was because people were inspired by things that they saw. It's like that. There's nothing in their world that exists.
Yeah.
But what if? And people are like, oh fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah. They're like, oh shit, what if that happened?
And they work on stuff like, okay, well let's. They're doing their thing and putting their the computer with like the cardboard cutouts with like the little dots, and it's like I'm gonna create a computer program. It's like
like in Star Trek with like the jelly beans and stuff.
Yeah.
Jelly bean buttons.
But like I said, it's crazy because people talk about back in the day they used to talk about if we could get a call from here to China, or like what if we can. You can be, what was his name? Nikola Tesla. Yeah, he was saying that.
Dude, Tesla is
what if Nikola? Yeah, dude, he was. I mean, he's like, oh, this guy could be in New York and I could be in LA and could be on some sort of phone, where we can see each other. I'm like, dude, that's fucking.
People shit on Tesla so much, but it's like he was so ahead of the curve.
Our world is built on all of this shit.
Yeah.
Like AC, like that's what everything in our house runs on.
Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, you had but see, the thing is that you look at it, and if you're a marketer and if you can push accurate product, of course you can get it. I mean, dude.
That's why Einstein sold all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
Yeah, Einstein was like, you know what? I'm smart as fuck. I do my shit. Never do that.
Well, he was working in the patent office, and he probably sold a lot of that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying he was dumb, but
no. But I'm
it's
just
just
saying, he's like, fuck it, But then you have people like Thomas Edison, motherfucker was electrifying elephants till they died.
Yeah.
So they could be like, oh look, this current is bad. Like, nah, you don't.
Oh
listen
yeah,
to
yeah.
Tesla.
They use
That's
he
the
used
world's
AC to like supposedly.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that fact.
He killed an elephant. Just so he could shit on Tesla, And then Tesla, had the tower, his tower instead of universal electricity. Because so my dad worked in water for years. He showed me electricity was much more different. So the way I knew that Tesla was trying to make this work was like, okay, if electricity is always in the ground, it's always in the ground, it's always there, it's always been there. We're just pushing it out, and those wires, all they're doing is giving it a direct line to what they need
a path to go.
A path to go. Yeah. So I was like, okay, maybe what he's doing is bringing that core energy from the earth and shoots it out of that the tower. And maybe what he was trying to figure out was, okay, what can collect that energy where once it's here...
Once it's stored, we can, move it out.
And push it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, basically that was just something that was sprouting that shit out.
Yeah, and he was trying to
collect it, which that's what.
Yeah, and he was trying to, Yeah, he was trying to electrify the world without, the need for wires and stuff.
Have you ever seen pictures of a Tory image with wires?
Dude, it blacked out the sun.
Yeah.
It was the cables were so thick, and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And
then people used to fucking die, left and right.
Yeah, plants would die too, because they weren't getting enough sun.
And then, they said that people would go up, turn on their fucking light, and get electrocuted. They're gone.
Yeah.
So, it's just, I mean, it's crazy and funny in a way, that we had to go through that transition. But, even Elon Musk, they asked him if he was more of a Tesla guy or a Thomas Edison guy. He said, oh, Thomas Edison. They were like, well, that's surprising because we would think that you're more of a Tesla guy, right? He's more stuff like that. He's like, yeah, but Thomas Edison was a smarter guy in pushing out his product.
Right, he was a better businessman.
Yeah, he was a better businessman, and you can't knock that.
Yeah.
You can build all that you want. You can build all that you want. You can do everything that you want. But if, just like Warren Buffett said, an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without it.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I mean, because what is it supposed to show? Because Tesla was clearly a genius.
Yeah.
But he couldn't sell life preservers to a drowning man.
Yeah. Because he wasn't looking at the fact that I can mass produce this.
Right.
And I can make the city better. No, what he thought was I can do this and in the name of science.
Right, just he was more can I do this? And then when he did it, it's okay, cool. Now on to the next day.
But Thomas wasn't I'm trying to get my fucking.
I know, he's trying to make paper.
Yeah, dude, that's all he wanted to do. And so that's what I'm saying. You can't knock that shit. But at the same
it's
time,
like Mookie from Do the Right Thing. It's like I gotta get paid.
Yeah, I gotta get paid. and then Nikola Tesla, out of his 50 files or some shit like that, they only got 17 or something. I forgot how many. But yeah, I'm sure the FBI took that shit. Now they got a laser on boats that fucking shoots down predators, dude. I think it's all because of him. He was working on a fucking deck.
Yeah, dude. I still want that earthquake machine.
Oh yeah, there's a machine. Right. I heard that he actually got it to function.
Yeah, it was a test. It was something the size of a smartphone like this, and then he just attached it to a building and through harmonic resonance.
Yes.
Got the whole building to
start shaking. Yeah. Fuck, dude. Imagine that.
Yeah. And after it's okay, it worked. He turned it off, put it in his pocket, and walked away.
I want to live in the universe where Tesla was the guy.
Dude, yeah. And there's so many smart people that have done things throughout history that are unexplainable. which is fucking nuts. Like, you know, you look at that guy that did that Coral Castle.
Oh yeah, in Florida.
Yeah, Florida. He was only like 5'7".
Yeah.
And he built the whole fucking thing by himself.
Yeah.
And now one of the pieces is broken. They can't even fix it.
Yeah,
They don't even know how the fuck that he even did it.
Yeah. I mean, tragically, you know, the fire that burned Notre Dame.
Oh yeah,
Dude, there's no way that we can restore that.
Yeah,
There's no way we can restore that.
They're like, fuck, how did they even do this?
I know, and like, you know, everyone wants to think that people back in the day were like idiots and like superstitious. Like, oh no, the eclipse, God's mad at me. But it's like,
I hate that, bro.
Yeah, and like,
God,
you know, it's like you see like
shit.
those statues. You know, I forget where it is. I think it's in Italy. It's like those statues of those women, like the veil. And it's like, but it's cut from stone,
Dude, it's cut from stone.
and it looks real. It looks like it's actually like veiled.
Yeah.
It's like an idiot can't do that.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
An unsophisticated person.
Maybe this is why we can't get back to the moon.
I don't know. Maybe.
Dude, I mean,
I don't even think there's space, but that's a discussion for you.
No, but it's like so much shit gets lost, you know, through history, man. It's just like that. That's why I think this movie. I think that's why Metropolis. Yeah, I think Metropolis. You know, I mean, we get a little sidetracked, but it's okay. I think that Metropolis in itself was one of those wonderful things that got lost and was able to get recreated.
It was found again.
Yeah,
in a sense,
you know,
because
we lose shit all the time. We destroy shit all the time.
I'll grab the Blu-ray real quick. I'll grab my Blu-ray.
What is it? Someone at Pixar like lost
Oh yeah, it's
the original cut of Toy Story 2 or something. They actually deleted it off their computers.
Yeah,
what the heck? How do you like delete the original file for Toy Story?
I think they were just trying to be petty.
I don't know. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oops. I pressed the wrong. I meant to press enter.
Whoops.
Dude, but you know, and it sucks because we move fast. As a human species, we move fast.
Yeah, faster more than ever.
Yeah, and ever since the Industrial Revolution, I mean, come on, man, look back at the fucking time, dude. Nosferatu is only 100 years old. It's only 100 years old.
Yeah.
So there's someone out there that was born during that fucking movie when it came out.
Oh, I don't know if you saw it recently, but there was like this 100-year-old Marine veteran.
Oh yeah.
He was talking about it. No. This like old like grandpa, like white dude. He was talking. He kind of talk about how this is what he fought for. This is what his friends died for. Yeah, but he's 100 years old. So that means he was born. Well, he was born the day that this movie was released.
Yeah.
He's just as old as Nosferatu.
Yeah, dude. That's fucking nuts, man. And like I said, you know, we move so fucking fast where it's like. So I met this lady when I was doing the gotcha. We went to go to a job, and she lives over here.
Okay, yeah.
And it's this house behind a liquor store and a laundromat and stuff near the wash. So she owns that whole corner. Her family owns that whole corner, and she has this like Victorian looking home. Beautiful, fucking nice. She said that when she was a child, she was like she's grown up her whole life, not moved nothing. You know? Her whole life she's lived there. And when she was a kid, she would see the orange groves. You know, she would look around and like she would see the farms, you know. And her dad, you know, he used to go to like La Placita, you know, whatever it's called, the place in downtown LA, where it's like they have the House of the Bulbs and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So he used to go there when it was actually a fucking ranch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because she was, I mean, when I met her, this was like 8 years ago. And, you know, we talked shit, I think I sat there and talked to her for like 4 fucking hours. You know, not that long. But it felt like it, you know. And we talked for a long time, dude. And yeah, she was telling me, like, oh, my dad. And at that time, she was like something like 90, you know, like 97. Really young. But yeah, she was telling me like, oh yeah, you know, my dad, you know, back in the day, like, you know, he used to go and there was ranches, like legit fucking ranches, dude. Like, you know, and she was like, oh yeah, you know, when the first car came out, you know, he came out.
Fuck. Yeah.
She was like, you know, he was like one of the first ones in the valley to get one. Yeah. But dude, sweet fucking lady, like showed me pictures of how the valley used to look and stuff.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it looks
like,
so great.
And then she was like, oh yeah, that's when I was like 7 years old. And I was like, 80 years? I was like, that was like 90 years ago. That wasn't even that long.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
I mean, it feels long because we're young in a sense, but
it's really not that long
ago.
ago.
It's not that long ago, dude. You know? And I'm like, fuck, like.
Hell, even 50 years ago, there was still orange groves and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, dude, I remember Seaside had orange groves and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not as sprawling as it once was,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, we move fast. We move so fast, dude. And shit like this gets lost, you know? And it's a shame because what else have we lost in the past century years? You know, that could have been something great. That's something that we can cherish and be like, yo, that's a part of history, or that's something that's really fucking awesome. Imagine this movie not being able to be shown because of all the lost fucking
that's the thing that scares me, and I'm so glad that this exists now. You know, that people were like, we need to restore this, and like they were people that worked decades to try to restore this film, because there's people like, yeah, I was a young man, now I'm an old man. You know, and this film like is this, we have the closest version to the opening night as we could possibly get. Yeah, we're I think they're missing like 10 minutes of footage.
Yeah,
which is which is pretty amazing. With all the cuts and the throwaways and the, you know, degradation of the nitrate film. Yeah, it's amazing that we have what we have. But if you're interested, you know, to watch this film, we're going to talk about it, you know, just after this. But buy the Blu-ray, the Kino International Complete Metropolis. You know, this is going to be, if you want to see the film in it as close to the original as possible, this is the one you want to watch. And what's cool is you get, like, not only do you get the film, you get the story of how they preserved it, how this all kind of came together. You get film notes here with, like, you know, some of the stills on here, and there's a whole, like, there's like 3 volumes of, like, you know, actual photos from behind the scenes that Fritz Lang and his crew took. I want to see those, to be honest. I don't know if they're archived somewhere. I would really love to see them. But you get this whole, like, in like the little notes that they give you, you get this, like, the whole story behind it. You get the story behind the film. You get some of the stills in here. But this is an amazing film. You know, not only for, you know, some people say, oh, it's boring, it's blah blah blah. I don't know about you guys. Did you find this film boring in any way? Like, because I know silent film can be boring. I understand.
But see, the thing is that you gotta look at the picture. I mean, it's like when you listen to a catchy song. You know, you could be listening to a catchy song. Oh yeah, this shit's it's good. But then you hear the lyrics and you're like, what the fuck am I listening to? You know what I mean? It's like you could listen to Tekashi 69 and you're like, oh yeah, it's catchy. It's that. You know? But then you listen to KRS-One where he talks about, you know, what's going on in this world. Some dope shit, and you're like, oh damn. When you look at this film, you look at it and you're like, damn. I mean, the storyline can be a little slow, or you could be like, you know, not my cup of tea, which is fine.
Yeah.
But look at everything else, man. Like, look at the special effects. Look at the city. Look at, you know, what the hard work that all these extras had put in it.
There was a lot of fucking extras.
Dude, there was shit. I mean, $5 million on a fucking movie back in the day. I mean, today's inflation is what, like something like that.
That's it's probably like close to
Yeah, 100
what,
million.
50? Yeah, 100 million. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's like for them to spend that much on a fucking movie, and see, that's the thing. It's like if you're looking to see a movie that's going to entertain you and you're going to be like, oh, at all, you're not going to want to watch this, you know?
No,
But if you're looking to be like,
this is serious film talking about serious topics.
Yeah, so you want a little culture.
yeah, exactly.
I look at this as like this, you know, because I love my sword and sandal epics. I love Ben-Hur. I love well, Lawrence of Arabia is not a sword and sandal epic. I like Lawrence of Arabia. I like.
It's kind of sort of same.
Is it? Well, they are in the sand. You know, it's it's a World War I epic.
Yeah.
I like you know, the Ten Commandments. I love Cleopatra. I love those movies. Spartacus, that's another one. This is the sci-fi version of that. You know, it's gonna take its time, and so it's not gonna be for everybody. I know it's a story of like you're seeing the story of the top side of Metropolis, like where people are high on the hog, or and you could really look at this from both ways. You could look at this as people who are like very leftist, socialist.
Mhm.
They're gonna be like, fuck those people, fuck the people that are living on top of the crew. And it's like, and the vice versa. You have the people that are like hardworking. They are living okay because they've worked hard, like a Joe Friederson type, and they're gonna look at the workers like, look at those fucking animals that are trying to destroy the city. And so you can see it from both sides. This movie shows both sides. And really the evil is the people that are taking advantage of that gap where there's no communication between the workers and the workers from the bottom and the workers from the top. Because the top, they're not lazy. They're working too. But there's no communication between them.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has a purpose.
Exactly. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone's working in a sense. Sure,
anyone could like shovel the coal, but not everyone needs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, this wherever your political views are, you're gonna connect with this movie in a way.
No, you are.
And
see, that's what I'm saying. No matter what film you watch, I mean, it could be you, it could be anybody out there. Whatever film that you watch, you make it your own. You make it your own. It's like you're gonna see films a certain way that someone else is not gonna have the same things as you do.
Exactly.
Back to Jackie. People are like, that movie is fucking racist. It says, this and that's that and that's this. There's people that don't like it.
It's great.
There's people like me. I fucking love that movie. There's people that don't like Quentin Tarantino the way that he does he functions.
His aesthetic.
Yeah.
I think I've seen all of his movies except for the Death Proof. I haven't seen his Grindhouse stuff. I haven't seen Death Proof yet.
I saw Death Proof.
I fucking love Grindhouse.
Is it good? Is it really good? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Kurt Russell, so that's why I want to watch it, but I've never seen it.
No,
I saw Death Proof.
Just to let you know, those chicks are fucking badass.
At the end,
But other than that,
that's my type of girl.
I've seen all his movies.
Yeah.
So
no, but I mean, see, it's like in Death Proof, no spoiler or nothing. But in Death Proof, you would get what I'm saying. Like, someone could look at that movie and be like, "Damn, those chicks are fucking badass," But then you can have somebody go like, "Oh, why does that have to be about a movie about chicks?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so you make that movie your own.
Right, exactly. It's like that old, kind of old axiom about art. If you kind of like you see what you bring to it. Like in art, whatever. The art is what it is, but it's what you bring.
you're bringing your own preconceived notions into it a lot of ways.
The art is whatever you bring to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and see, that's the same thing with this. If you're gonna look at it for if you're gonna try to see this movie as a form of entertainment, like, this isn't a fucking western. This isn't,
This is a Marvel movie.
Yeah, this isn't a Marvel movie.
This is not an easy movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's a long movie.
Yeah, it's a slog.
Yeah, but if you pay attention to the details and then follow the storyline, and you see everything, and if you wonder, if you have a big imagination, you'll wonder like, how the fuck did they make this? How the fuck did they make that costume? You know that costume that original.
Yeah.
Galatea.
It was I forgot what it was made from. It was made out of some material. And dude, it's like then you kind of put yourself in. I'm like, damn, these actresses and these actors put themselves in
Through hell.
Yeah, through hell to
tell the story.
Yeah, to tell the story, but to also satisfy us,
Well, and then even like
entertain us.
Yeah, even further with that, like you go away from that because I do love that part of it. But you actually go into the story. It's like, what the it's like, what are these workers going through? Like because obviously we see their struggle.
Yeah.
But like we also see the struggle. Joe Friederson is struggling too. I don't think that guy has slept in. He doesn't sleep much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, and he is, running that city of Metropolis the city that he has built. That is a hard struggle too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't call him a lazy person at all.
Well, no, like I said, I think everybody has their purpose, pre made for them, yeah.
There is a caste system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like where we don't know the history of how this city got created, although we do see like the biblical allusions to the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like the stuff where we do flash back to like the biblical past.
Yes.
But we don't necessarily see how this particular city was built.
Yeah.
We don't know like the struggles that Joe Friederson went through, and like
but
potentially his dad and like his grandfather and all.
That's the thing. It's like when I watch movies like that, I love my imagination.
What did Joe Friederson go through? What did his family go through?
Exactly.
And we also know that like his wife has passed away from like giving birth to his son. How has that affected him? How and like
I don't think that people understand like how hard it is to be a leader. I mean, every leader is going to come with pros and cons, But even at your workplace, when you're a leader, when you're up there, it's difficult, because you want to keep one at bay. You want to make sure that your worker's doing one thing, that the other one's doing this, but then you got that lazy piece of shit that doesn't want to do anything, and then you got this person, so you got to keep them in check. Imagine doing that with the whole fucking city. Yeah. It's like okay, you guys got to be in check.
Talk about having spinning multiple plates.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
As a leader, it's like you have to make sure that that the sanitation is working.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that the workers getting paid. Yeah. And then it's a constant like spinning of plates.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I think some of the people that live up top, they make the products without having to work the products or something like that, right? So the workers are working the product, but someone has to make them, So
the workers don't understand the trouble of making that product, and the maker of that product doesn't necessarily understand the problems of working that.
So and like maybe it comes back to miscommunication.
That's what this whole movie's about. It's miscommunication.
Yeah, dude. I think that sums it up pretty well. Because it's like I said, it's a movie that you have to sit down. You have to like really evaluate it.
Right. Yeah. One of those movies you have to chew on for a while.
Yeah, and just come out and be like, okay, what makes it good? But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all on the person. You know, like.
Right, yeah, if you watch this movie like in your early 20s or whatever, you'll probably side with like the workers, like yes, workers' revolution, revolt,
Yes. Yeah.
But then when you get a little bit older and you like you have a job or you start a business, and then you're like, oh man, totally, I'm totally like this Joe Friederson person.
I'm one of those people. I don't think I have a heart because like I think if I was in my 20s when I watched this, like when this like the new version came out, I would be like, fuck the workers, dude. I was like,
dude, when I used to work at McDonald's, you know, I used to be like, fuck, man, I'm like, fuck corporate, fuck them. Like, you know, they don't want to pay us more, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. But then, as I grew older and I found, okay, you know, they got the responsibility of paying the workers, they got the responsibility of paying the fucking, the land, the state tax,
They got tax, property tax.
A machine breaks, guess who has to pay for it? The fucking worker, you know, or if it was a franchise,
The franchisee,
you know. So it's like, okay, you're putting the risk in that. Like just like Metropolis said, you're putting in the risk management in there.
Who's putting in the
The
risk?
CEO has all the risk. Like if it fails, like he loses
you're
everything.
You're fucked.
And that the worker, they can just go and like get another job.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if that McDonald's closed down, guess what? Carl's Jr. was across the street. Yeah, and there I go. You know, here's my application. I got a two-year
McDonald's.
McDonald's, and boom, I got a job.
Yeah.
But the CEO is out on his ass. You know?
And he's like, and he's saddled with like probably years of debt.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has to pay back.
And being like my own boss in my company, you know, that's difficult to juggle as well because it's like, you know, I go and people want to be cheap, so now I gotta negotiate the price, you know, and then I'm like, man, fuck you, like I'm being the person that's providing the service, but I'm also the person that has to fucking work the service, you know, so I'm doing both at one time, so I feel like, you know, like him, like, you know, where I'm like, fuck, I can't sleep, you know, because I'm making, you know, the product and I'm selling it, you know.
And like you're also responsible for all your workers.
But
like,
yeah,
and like
exactly.
they get paid and they're able to like make a living.
Exactly.
You got to take care of them too.
Yeah. So like later on, I mean, you never know where this goes, but I mean, if the company does grow, then it's like me as a business owner, I carry the risk. You know, they get into an accident with my truck, I gotta buy another truck,
Right, and then you also pay like for their workers' comp.
Exactly. You know, so as a leader, you're like, damn, you know. So if I would have seen this back in when I was 20, I would have been like, man, fuck those people. You know?
Fuck the elites.
Yeah,
Pay the rich.
Fuck them.
You know, and I'm the weirdo, and I'm kind of the weirdo where I'm kind of like, because I've never owned a business. Yeah, I can admit that. But like, I've been a worker. You know, I've been in the Navy. I've been in like other businesses and stuff. But I'm like, I look at like the people around me. It's like that fucking person's lazy. Fucking stop paying them. Okay, I can do that. I can do my job and their job at the same time. Just give me his salary. Okay, you know, it's like that, and it's like fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And so in a way, I kind of understand the plight of the people that are employing. It's like and even like even in our job, like we're so short-staffed right now, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck that guy that like doesn't show. They don't want. Okay, they don't want to show up to work. Well, that's for they're taking like 100 sick days, and it's like it's not like they're dealing with it's not like they are dealing with something serious. It's just because like they don't want to show up to work. It's like okay, well then they should be gone. It's like I'll take their position. It's like I'll do what they do, and I'll absorb their responsibilities. Just pay me extra. I'm already absorbing their fucking their responsibilities.
Yeah, and then I'm telling you, that's why I think I can see the point of view of this, and I can see the point of view of that. And I think that's what makes a great leader is being able to understand.
I think yeah.
And see, that's what happens when one doesn't want to understand the other. The workers don't want to understand what the people up top are going through. And the people up top, they don't want to know what the fucking workers are going through. All they know is like, okay, you got a job, you do that shit. And then
paying you to do something.
And then them at the bottom, they're like, what the fuck, like, what are you doing?
And that's where you want to become the threader. Where you understand the plight of the workers, but you also know the struggle at the top as well. He knows the struggles that his dad's gone through, and you know the struggles of what the workers gone through because you've been there. You've done the work of like, oh shit, this is really tough.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you want to be the threader that connects the two.
Yeah.
And that
Fredder is the bridge.
Yeah.
He's a bridge.
He is the Jesus figure of this movie.
Yeah. But at the same time, all that to take into account, and I think that's as it progresses and you would start declining, you self-destruct at one point, So I think that's
for the workers, they can break their backs, but for
the mind goes.
The owners, they can see their mind. It's their body too. They get the ulcers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's like that's a great example. He is the bridge. You gotta have a bridge. And like I said, if I was 20 years old and I was working at McDonald's, I'd be like, oh, fuck those.
Yeah.
But now that I'm in my 30s and I'm older and like I've witnessed what life is really about, I'm like, you know what? Fuck you guys, like all of y'all.
and that's really what this is really what the movie is about. It's about this is a movie that we understand the plight of the top.
Yeah.
We understand the plight of the workers, but those two factions need to communicate.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But when they don't communicate, that's where evil happens.
Yes.
And the evil, like Rotwang and like his mechanical man, under his direction, can create chaos.
Yes.
And it not only infects the top, it infects the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're gonna, the top is like fuck the top. The bottom is fuck the top, and the top's like fuck these people, destroy them. And any people that are against me, fuck them.
Yeah.
And so you create this bubble of hate, and that's where revolution and chaos happens. Now, had those people communicated from the very beginning, now don't get me wrong, the bottom is a very tough job. Them doing the menial job, or what we would consider the menial jobs. They're not menial; they're important jobs that need to be done. And what's happening at the top, although they have better things, but they're still working hard too. Their job isn't, useless.
Yeah.
So, when you start to communicate, it's like, okay, well, maybe we can find something in common ground, where maybe some of us at the top, maybe we help out at the bottom, and we give you guys a break, and there's a cycle, where everyone's working together in this project, because it's the city, Metropolis. If stuff stops working, everyone dies.
Yeah.
So we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And
that's what.
And that's the real message. Everyone's in this together.
Yeah.
But we're not communicating, so we think oh, fuck those people.
Yeah.
Fuck those people.
Yeah.
And that's really where our society is at. Yeah. We're all in this together in a lot of ways.
We destroy this planet, we only got one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We only got one, dude.
It maybe people could be like, "Oh, fuck you, hippie." It's like, no, it's not. That's not what I'm talking about. But but in the case of this movie, it is talking about real life. I'm not talking about Germany or England. I'm talking about just our own country. It's the same thing. We have people at the top, we have people at the bottom.
Yeah.
Let's communicate. We can work together. Let's root out the Rotwangs and the mechanical man of our world. Those are the people that are manipulating things to create this fraction.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, it's always gonna be. There's always gonna be different. I mean, different views.
Yeah.
It's just like they said. I mean, you can, us as humans, we were given emotion, feeling. So we're always gonna feel a certain type of way. That thing is different. But we can't view things the same because our emotions take control of us. No matter what we do, no matter how we try to act. I'm sure that they used to go through this shit back in our drinking days that were one guy was drinking. No, back then they used to have structure. And see, that's what I think that now we're lacking the structure. structure is like what we like.
Right, because we're erasing like jurisdictions.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Just
like, before like the man went to work and the woman, made the home for the man. Just like whatever is like the jurisdiction of the woman, that's her jurisdiction. She's in charge of it. Whatever is the jurisdiction of the man is the man's. He's responsible for it. Like he's responsible for it. But now it's like we're raising those distinctions where it's like, oh, a woman can do what a man can do, what a man can do what a woman can do. It's like,
No.
maybe, but no.
I can't.
In some, yeah. Well, no, you can chest speed, Val.
Chest speed, where your chest milk.
Dude, oh my god, you know what fucking kills me when people in a podcast say, if you get triggered, you're like, what the fuck do you mean if you get triggered? You're listening to a podcast that's obviously talking about something, like, these murder mystery podcasts.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, if you
By
get
trigger warning, we're going to talk about blood.
Yeah, trigger warning, we're going to talk about rape. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
no shit. No shit. We're gonna be talking about like one of the most prolific rapists in the history of America. No shit.
We're going to be talking about rape. God damn.
Of course you are.
Fuck you if you say that. Anyways.
Who knew that Jeffrey Dahmer was gonna eat people? Oh my god.
Dude, oh my god, fucking drives me nuts. But
who knew that Ted Bundy was gonna rape those corpses?
There's just no more structure. I mean, back then it was kind of like the same thing. We had the hunters, we had our warriors, we had our the Aztec, the Mayans and stuff like that. They had their hunters. You had to be a warrior, you had to go out there and provide. You went out and went into battle. You went and you hunted, and then they would bring the lion, all that shit back. Have them, make clothes out of it, make resources out of it, and everybody had. They built houses. Yeah, like sick shit, dude.
That's a fucking great movie.
Yeah. But everybody had everyone. There was structure where everyone had
a purpose. Everyone had a role.
Yeah, and now I think that's what we're getting away from. Not everybody can do what everyone can. Yeah. Not everyone can do what another person can do. I can't lift what a fucking bodybuilder lifts, dude. I can't. I can't go into fucking Harvard and pretend like I'm the smartest fucking guy in there just because I say that I'm smart. I can't go inside the NFL and be like, oh yeah, I want to play in the fucking NFL. And it's like, dude, those motherfuckers are monsters.
I mean, other than Spud Webb, when was the last time you saw like apply to a basketball? So.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm telling you, like, there is no structure in it. And I think that's what the farther we get from that, the worse we're going to be off. It's just like they used to say all great roads lead to Rome, and they used to say that all great roads lead to the U.S. Now
who knows?
We're all saying roads aren't fucking heading nowhere.
Well,
and they're usually filled with potholes.
Yeah,
that's where this movie is interesting because there is order in Metropolis, and it is people who have nefarious actions that are manipulating things, like because whatever their reasons may be, that they are manipulating the order that's there, that a good order. Yeah. And they're upturning the social norms that make the society run, that are destroying to destroy it, because whether it's because they hate the person that's running it, or because they hate the people that live in it, whatever it may be. And that's exactly what's happening today. I look at our own country and countries around the world where for a long time we had basic morals, basic social norms that kept our society going. Yeah. And I'm not saying that everything's perfect. No, of course not. We all need. There's always need for improvement, of course. But the fact that there are nefarious people that try to attack those morals, those social norms that are the glue to society. And that's what happens in this movie, and that's why to be honest, I really think that that's what scares people about this movie. Like why the people hate this movie.
Yeah, I think that people, the reason when it came out, people were a little taken back by it was because the truth in that. It's spitting some truth in there, where I think people really thought about it and was like, oh shit, because
the lower caste people were important,
yeah,
and the people that were in the upper class were also important. They're both important for the role of Metropolis.
Yeah.
But when you say that, it's like, well, no, the upper class, we don't need those people.
Yeah.
It's all the lower class. It's kind of that like where
the symbiotic and I both need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like some people see that. There's some people see that where they're like, okay, you know what? Dude, I'm good with my hands. Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing.
No,
like,
of course
dude,
not.
I'm good with my hands. I'm fucking good with my hands. I can fix shit. I can pull shit out of the house. Like, dude, I can move this whole house. If you're like, hey, dude, I'm moving from one apartment to another, dude, I'm fucking move this good thing.
I call Val. That's what I need to do.
and I understand that. Dude. But I'm not gonna go like, just like I told you with the Zoom thing. I'm like, dude, I'm not going on a computer. I don't understand that shit. And I understand my role. I'm like, okay, I'm good with my hands. I'm good with my head. I'm good at improvising. I'm great with all that shit.
Just because you're not good with computers doesn't mean you're a dumbass.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that Einstein quote? Something to do with intelligence. But you wouldn't call a fish stupid for not knowing what a bicycle is.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
And see, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like when people understand the world in life, when you understand it, and you're like, okay, that doesn't mean like it doesn't mean that I can't become a millionaire. Right. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna be fucking dirt poor and die penniless. It doesn't mean any of that. But if you understand your role, you can make something of yourself.
Exactly. And what is it? Who's the guy that made the movie?
Rutwang,
yeah. Like he never stopped and be like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own city. I'm gonna make a competitor city to Metropolis. But he never did that. He just wants to. He wants to
rip it down.
He wants to burn the fucker down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you only had like a better attitude, it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna start my own city.
Yeah. Yeah, start your own city.
Yeah. There was no one stopping him from making his own city.
Dude, like me, like that's that's a perfect example. Because when I was working at Got Jumped, I was like, damn, dude, I'm good at this. I can take a fucking fridge and take it 3 flights of stairs down. Dude. Like, I'm good at this. This is what I'm good with. I'm good with my hands. I'm good with my head. I'm improvising and doing stuff like that. Like at work, dude, I can put 2 fucking props together and do them at the same time. I can do that. So I'm good with that, and I understand my role, and I can make money. I can make my own money, which I did. I started my business, and I get paid to fucking go and clean out houses and shit, So or garage clean outs or moving shit, So I'm like, I don't need to hate the fucking company. I don't need to hate the owner. I just want to start my own shit.
It's like there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Yeah, exactly. No one is stopping you besides yourself. And I think that's the problem, is that like people don't understand their role. People don't understand their role. Like people want more without doing more, or sometimes they want more but doing less.
They believe what the media tells them. That's it. That's the one problem. And what you're saying too is like, one of my another cinema kind of thing. Like, one of my favorite characters in cinema is a character named Rock Lee from the Naruto franchise, where it's like he doesn't have the ability to do like all like the special abilities and stuff, but I'm not a genius of those things. I'm a genius of hard work. Mm-hmm. And so, his abilities are all like there's 3 different types of abilities people have. It's like, I have the ability to do hard work, to do like this one thing. So I'm better at this part of it than you guys are.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to get outworked in the thing that I'm good at.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
and see, like right here, it's like with the Metropolis. You know, you got people that function in comics, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, dude, you're good at that. That's you. That's your role. You know, sometimes do we get pressured to do these things? Yeah. Sometimes, you know, we're working against the clock. Yes. You know.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, it gets fucking done.
Mm-hmm.
It gets done. We play our role, and we go home. You know. And
There's nothing wrong with that.
there isn't, dude. Like, you know, and who's to say that these people that are millionaires, they didn't have to. Who's to say that they didn't go through this shit?
Yeah.
You know
Like
what I mean?
someone who like starts like a air conditioning repair service, like he might have started off being the one going out and servicing the air conditioners before he was able to make enough money or have enough clients,
Yeah.
then bring in somebody else. And so he had to do it less,
Yes.
you know, and then on, and he was able to bring more people to the point where he can now then
Have somebody else.
have all these other people go out and service, and he could work on business, you know, the business side, you know, putting out advertisements, getting new contracts, all the stuff that, you know, those people working on the air conditioners don't have to worry about.
Exactly. And it's crazy because sometimes I talk to people and they're like, oh, dude, all I want to do is just fucking go to work and just, that's it. And I was like, okay, so what's
There's nothing wrong with that.
They're like, I hate my fucking job. I'm like, oh, okay, so you want to wake up, go get your paycheck, and that's all you want to fucking do? And then you
Gotta get paid.
And then they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, then you're doing exactly that. What's the problem? They're like, well, I hate my fucking job.
What does that have to do?
Well, okay, then you find a job that you like getting paid at, and then you go home and you're okay.
If you hate your job, and all you're getting paid for is to go to work, do your thing, and you clock out so you only work your 8 hours, and you say you fucking hate your job, why don't you go get another job? Oh, because they don't pay the same.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then
Dude,
that's on you.
So see, that's what I'm saying. People don't understand their role. Like when I speak to people like that, I'm like, your role is to just fucking go to work, go home, go to work, go home. You're just a worker. That's your role. That's it. You're not gonna be nothing more, nothing less. You know, like when you speak to people like that. You know what I mean? And see, that's the thing. It's like, but they're like, oh, this is what I want to do, but I want to fucking, you know, do things like Elon Musk. And it's like, dude, Elon Musk didn't just fucking go to work for 8 hours and be like, okay, time to clock out.
He was imagining things and working stuff like, you know, there's no 8-hour clock.
There is.
That's a 24/7 clock, dude, that he's
like,
on.
With me,
Yeah, that's the mentality of like the worker versus boss.
Yeah.
The boss knows that there is the clock.
There
They're
is.
constantly working.
bro, I get out of the post office and I go do jobs.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I gotta fucking run, you know. I'm out there fucking 10, 11 o'clock at night, you know, sometimes 2 in the morning, you know, just trying to get my hustle on, you know. And that's one thing that I actually really do like is I saw this quote one time and it said, are you really hustling or did you just clock out? And I was like, oh shit, I like it.
Well,
with this podcast, like, you know, we just, you know, people think, you know, might see this and like, oh, you guys get together, you just talk about for an hour, like, but you don't see like the time it took to like set up all of this and then, you know, go and, you know, edit it and go upload it and then think about like, oh, who are we gonna have the next guest on?
Getting the guest. What's the topic gonna be? What are we gonna do? How, you know, what's the setup time? You know, what's the edit time? You know, we're yeah, you know, even like, you know, with the live stream, you know, that takes 3, you know, that's 3 hours out of every week that we take. You know, it's, and like, you know, as far as like, it's a lot of work.
And see, that's what I'm saying. You gotta know your role. You know? Dude, you came in here, you set all this stuff up, you set the lights up, you know, and I'm sitting here on my ass like, all right, cool. You know,
Yeah,
like,
eating
do
tacos.
your thing.
Yeah.
Eating tacos and drinking beer, you know?
Yeah.
But see, I mean, that's your role. That's your role,
and
dude.
even like, you know, we were watching, my wife and I were watching No Time to Die. You know, like, you know, Q has a line in there where he's like, well, I guess the job's not 9 to 5. You know, and so it's like, you know, it's the thing. It's like you know, the life of the spy. You know, it's 24/7. Like, you know, they're always working.
And see, that's what I get at, man. It's like, know your fucking role, man. And sometimes it might not be the best.
And guess what?
Not everybody can fucking be Bill Gates.
No.
Not everybody's gonna be fucking Michael Jordan. Not and
That's okay.
You can try your best at what you're doing, and it's okay to not be the greatest of all time and stuff like that. But you know what? You live your life. You do the best that you can. Excuse me. Without
even if you fail, it's okay. Yeah.
But like I said, know your and I think that's one thing with this movie that I like and dislike is like that. People have their role, but they
don't appreciate their role.
They don't appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing too about like the workers too. Are they homeless? Are they living on the street? They all have a place to live.
Yeah, they all have a roof over their head. Is it the nicest roof? No, but it's a roof.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you have your place.
And because for their fake revolution that they created, they abandoned their family for this revolution, and with no guarantee that the revolution was going to work.
Yeah. And then on top of that, it's like now the kids are fucking left on.
And they destroyed their living space, just like what we talked about. Like before the podcast started, it's like they destroyed their living space, at the detriment to their family.
Yeah.
Where have I seen that recently?
Yeah.
But really, so that's what I'm
La
saying.
Raza.
You have to know your fucking, know your fucking, because I'm telling you, like I see a lot of people out there and they're like, oh man, I want to do code, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's like it's good to try. It's good to try.
Right.
You
just tell them get started.
It's good to try to because I tried going to real estate. I can't sit in an office. I can't fucking sit in an office. It should drive me nuts.
It's crazy. You drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like, can I sell? Yeah, I can sell, but I'm not gonna sit in a fucking office all day. I'm not gonna go to a house all day trying to fucking have an open house and get like emails.
You have like all these like
and
people who's.
And I'm dyslexic as fuck, dude.
But then again, we have another guest that comes on our podcast, all the time. Our friend Eric. He's a real estate agent. He's a fucking great real estate agent. And he loves it.
And I try to go in there because I was like, you know what? People were telling me like, dude, like you're such a great person. You're easy to talk to. This and that. Like, why don't you try it? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try it. But like I said, I tried it, and I'm like, damn, the money could have been there, and it's good and stuff. But I can't sit in a fucking office, replying to emails, reading contracts, reading what the next fucking, the next person wants to do, buying and selling, like all that shit. I was
traveling out to houses, clients, the open houses.
I'm like, dude, I can't do that shit. And I was like, I ain't having people in my fucking car. I play computers, I play gangster rap, like I play what I want to play in the fucking car, Like I don't care who's in there, So I was like,
this is my car.
Yeah, this is my car, dude.
You don't fuck with a Mexican man's radio.
Yeah, dude. The only reason my homie Eric got to play with my radio this fucking week is because he's going in bed. So, but I was like, okay, this isn't for me, So I tried real estate, and then I was like, you know what? Let me try, having a business, But then I figured, I'm like, dude, if I'm not moving, I'm being I'm not gonna fucking, like, you know what I mean? So I was like, I have to keep it moving, and I have to make sure that, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. So when I started my t-shirt company a while ago, I wanted to do a clothing line. I mean, I had people buying shit from me because I was like, out there selling. And like I said, I'm easy to talk to. I can go anywhere, drop me off anywhere, and I'll get money. So
that's true.
I was selling some shirts here and there, selling some sweaters. So it went well. But then I noticed that, like, when I would get home, like, I would do anything else. That was it. I would get home and they're like, hey, people, how's your t-shirt? But I'll just sit there and like take a fucking nap or go to sleep or whatever, So I was like, okay, maybe this is when I just got junk, I was like, oh, okay, I like this. Because I breaking and shit, moving, constantly moving, doing this, doing that. With the post office, same shit, dude. I like that I'm moving, I'm out and about, I'm talking to people, you know, they give me, you know, advice here and there, and I can put that into my life and become a better person, which I love, you know. So I'm like, okay, this is my role right here. You know, I can work with my hands and I can work with my brain to better myself. Which I was like, okay, I'll start my company. I started my company, dude. I go out and I do fucking cleanouts, you know, and I'm working with my hands. Like, dude, and then with the post office, I'm like, okay, I could go to the post office. I'm basically working with my hands, you know, delivering other shit. But I could also be smart about it, and you know, people tell me like, dude, when your supervisor tells you to do some shit, why don't you just do it? I'm like, because see, the difference between me and you is that I'm fucking bored. Like, dude, I'm bored of the post office already. Like, that's why.
How can we innovate? How can we be better?
Yeah, exactly. So when she's
how can we be more efficient?
When she's on like, take this route and then you're gonna take the business on that route. I'm like, okay, good, because now I can mash them together and see how I could do it. And it's kind of it brings me a little bit of joy where I'm like, okay, I could do this for one more day.
That's part of entrepreneurship. It's just knowing what your skill set is, what your assets are, and like finding a way to monetize that shit. I mean, my first business, I think I've counted this story before, but my first business was in like ninth grade. No, when I was 9 years old. And it was a delivery service. And it was to like the kids at my school. You know, because like I was like one of the only kids that rode his bike to school. And in the morning, I'd always pass the 7-Eleven, and one day I got the notion, like, you know what, I'm gonna get some Flamin' Hot Cheetos for myself, you know, for lunch. And so, you know, I got them, and then I broke them out. It's like, oh, you know, my friends were like, oh, where'd you get that? Like, oh, I got them on my way, you know, to school. And then it's like, oh, could you get me a bag, you know, tomorrow? I was like, okay, sure. And then I did that, and then slowly more and more people started asking me to do that. And so, you know, back then, bag of hot Cheetos was like $1.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's just like, you know, I should be making money off of this somehow, right? So I was like, so instead of $1, or just getting just $1, I'd ask them for $1.25.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so the 25 goes to me. I send $1 for their Cheetos.
Delivery fee.
So I recognize, you know, I just took the time and like I recognized, like, oh, what are my assets? Freedom, independence. Because I was the only one in my class that rode his bike to school every day.
So right there, you got an upper hand.
Yeah, so I had an upper hand. So I had the opportunity, and so
see, and then you played that role.
Yeah, and I applied it. You know, I was like, okay, so I have independence. I have, you know, I essentially have my own vehicle that I can get around in, and so, you know, that, you know, and I had the opportunity because I passed by a 7-Eleven, so it's like, there you go. That's my business, delivery.
An opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I was
doing
it.
Yeah. When I was in high school and coming out of high school, I was
No, you're a street pharmacist.
Yeah, street pharmacist.
You're a hustler.
Yeah, dude, I was successful with that shit, man. I made more money there than I do at the post office.
Right.
You know? So
I would imagine.
You know, it was like, you know what, maybe good money there, but you know, and I liked it, you know, and I mean, a little bit was a thrill.
Right.
But like I said, I played my role, dude. I played my role, and I played it well. And that's what you gotta do, and that's what I get from this movie. You know, it's like a lot of people don't play the role. You gotta understand that not everybody.
Right, that's what I said. You know, like everyone can be a worker, not everyone can be a boss.
Yeah. You know? And then sometimes bosses can be workers too.
Yeah.
You know,
That's okay too.
And that's fine. You know, I mean, it's gonna be hard as fuck to get up there to the top. But once you make it,
it always is.
You know, and you know, do this like I said. Anywhere you go and anything that you do, you do it 100%. And if it's not for you, guess what? Move on to the next one, man. I was like, dude, I tried real estate. I went like $500,000 real estate license. I went to seminars and all kinds of shit. Didn't make it, but it's okay. You know, I tried construction. Didn't fucking make it, but it's alright. You know, I tried owning a company. Well, I tried saving up money to get a franchise. Not a franchise, but a truck, FedEx. And I was like, do I really want to take the case money? You know, and what if they fuck up my money? You know,
right.
Like, you know. I was like, you know what? I was like, this is not me. And I'll put it up. And then I got fired. Went back to
I think we talked about that story.
I got fired, and but then I went to the janitorial place. And I'm like, fixing, dude. I mean, anything breaks, I can fucking fix it. Anything that needs, I could fix fucking drywall. I can, like I'm a jack of all trades with shit like that. Like my dad taught me plumbing, electrical. So I'm good with that too. And I'm like, okay, I could apply this shit to myself. Make myself a better person. But like I said, at the end of the day, I follow my book. I can't pick up a book and be like, okay, I'm gonna be fucking doing coding next. Like, no, I can't do that shit.
Learn to code, dude.
I'm like, fuck that. Like, dude, I'm dyslexic as fuck. Like, dude, I mean, shit. At work, I have to read each fucking piece of mail 4 times.
I know that's tough on you.
Every fucking time, bro, I have to read each fucking piece of mail 4 times. Just so I get the numbers and the street correct. Because if I read it once or twice, I'll notice that, I maybe switched the numbers around, or I looked at the fucking street and instead of it saying Gresham, it says fucking Gazette.
Yeah,
like,
dude, you're not the only person that does that, because I know a lot of the other carriers don't do that, and they're also dyslexic like you.
Yeah, dude, no, but I'm telling you, I'm dyslexic as fuck. Like, and then I mispronounce shit and all that stuff. I mean, English, I'm all in English class. That's, I was more of a math and science kid, and art.
Yeah.
I was heavy on those, but I can look at a fucking fossil tree and be like, okay, this is a fossilized tree. This and that. Like, I can do that.
Right.
Math, I know I'm not a little bit, but art, especially art, is all. But dude, I'm telling you, like with English, I was like all that mess. And I'm like, it's okay, dude. You don't have to be the best at everything. Excuse me. And the thing is, with these people in Metropolis, it's like I know that sometimes people want more and they envy what
they don't have.
That's what it is. Like,
but at the end of the day.
And I'm actually glad that this is where we went with the movie, because we could do like a breakdown of the whole movie, but I'm actually really, to be honest, I'm very disappointed with like all the other reviews that talk about Metropolis. It's fucking boring. It's really boring. Because a lot of the reviews, they're all the same. They're like, they either like, I loved it, I hated it.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, it all.
So culturally relevant.
Yeah, but I think.
But no, we are applying it to real life, like what is not only true to us, but true to life in itself. Like, this is a movie that I think is not only way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
But it's all, it's speaking to us right now. It's speaking to us right now, and we have to realize that the people that are like kind of the people that are working, the what we consider like the lower class or like the middle class or lower class, they're not any less than the upper class that are the CEOs, the work the people that are owning the companies. Now, are there bad people in those arenas? Sure, but there are bad people in the middle class and lower class too. And there's all
we won't get fucking stepped up and robbed,
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, and here's the thing: there's also people that are on the outside of that realm that are trying to maneuver and manipulate those miscommunications, the gaps, and. To be honest, there's a lot of our political and media class that are doing just that. They're the Rotwangs of the world that are trying to manipulate people and destroy people, and for their own purposes. And they create these false, they create their own mechanical mans that are manipulating people, and which are very convincing in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, I mean, but if you just how they say, like, not everything that
well, exactly, but I'm saying not everyone is open to that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like I said, I'm not necessarily mad at people who like they watch this stuff and like they're like, oh well, CNN told me, Fox News told me. this, the New York Times told me that this is going on. It's like, well, they're lying to you. They're the Rotwangs of the world. They're trying. They're not creating solutions. They're not trying to create a better world. They're trying to create disassociation between the people that the people who are electing the people that are on their the they're not trying they're trying to manipulate people so that, like, oh, we're better than you, like, these people are against you, these people are against you, and so, like, it's just it's a crazy spectrum that we're at, and this movie speaks to that in a lot of ways. The mechanical man is really the media in a lot of ways, and Rotwang is, it's a political class.
It's the one that pulls the strings. Disseminates the narrative.
Exactly. That's what's going on.
And see, that's the thing, though. It's like you're busy and you're on, right? And now you need to expand that a little, right? And you're not gonna see what's going on,
right? And it's like, the normies, like, I have some compassion for it. It's like, they're busy, like, working, and a lot of them have families, so they don't have the time to, like, or they don't have the time to take, go sift through everything, like as I would do, or you would do this. And so, a little compassion on them. But there's like those who are just like willfully ignorant, and just kind of like, no, like, why would they lie to us? Like, why wouldn't they lie to you?
Yeah, exactly. And then I think that's one of the biggest flaws.
Well, in
reality, I mean in the movie, but in reality as well.
Well, I mean, in reality, the normies are both not only the top, but the bottom as well.
Yeah.
Like, those are the normies.
Yeah.
Rotwang and the mechanical man are the ones that are outside trying to influence, and that's where I see the political and the media class.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, when you have people like that of higher power.
Because the top and the bottom have a lot more in common than they realize.
Yeah, exactly. But see, that's the thing. It's like you are someone, higher power, and you want to create your own agenda, and it's like, okay, how can I do this? How can I do this? How can I put this person against this person, even though that these two people need each other?
Exactly. The CEO needs the worker, and the worker needs the CEO.
And like I said, it goes back to the way you're talking, the way you grow, and when you have people like that manipulating you, and the CEO can be like, look, it's not me, it's him or them doing this to you. But that person is like, oh, dude, you're the CEO, you don't work, you don't do shit. Like, I'm the one down here.
Yeah, you just sit in your office all day.
Yeah.
Like, talking to like 7 different vendors, and getting people with things like material so you can actually do your job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, like Ben Shapiro says, when he said, like, dude, if your wife's a doctor. But when he said, he was like, hey man, he was like, if there was no fucking pencil, if there was no laptop, if there was nothing, you'd just be twirling your fucking thumbs outside, and shit.
If I didn't have the factory, if I didn't have the wood and the rubber and the lead, then you don't have a job. Yeah, you don't have a job.
So they need each other. But like I said, when you have somebody fucking just whispering in your ear, like, oh, dude, the CEO doesn't do shit. We need to get that person, to do more, because you're the one that's doing all the work. Like, you're doing all the hard work, man. And it starts getting into their head.
Yeah, like the socialist communist lie, where it's like, oh, the CEO doesn't do anything. This is really your company.
Yeah, like, dude, you run it.
Yeah, like, you're the one who works.
That's where if I can go back in time, I'd kill Karl Marx.
Dude, it's like the post office. People get mad. They're like, oh, fuck it. Like, fuck the post office, fuck this, fuck that, and I'm like, dude, we made it into what it is. You know what I mean? We made it into what it is because there's people that are higher up, and just in any company, there's people that are higher up. And at first they were like, okay, I could pay my workers well, pay my workers well, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. But then next thing you know, like, you got people coming in, and, so people get into their heads like, oh, what I am doing all the work. But they don't see what goes behind the scenes. They don't see any of that. They don't see what the company has to go through, the money that are lost. Is this month's revenue?
Are we selling this amount?
Yeah.
Are we doing this?
Is our target met this month? Like, can I get a bonus, or do I have to pay my dude?
Is this employee doing what I need them to do?
Yeah, and you have to pay your employees first. Mm-hmm. The last person to get paid at a company is the fucking CEO or the owner.
Exactly.
In any business. Any business, dude. You are the last one. Dude, I can go do a job right now, right? I can go do a job right now. Say someone pays me $500 to go do a job. Okay? I gotta go fill up my gas tank. I gotta make sure that I don't fuck up the house because then I have to pay them. I gotta make sure that I don't get a fucking flat tire at the junkyard. Right? I gotta make sure that I can go, if they give me electric, if they give me anything electrical, I gotta make sure that I can go recycle that. And I gotta pay for that shit. And then I gotta go take everything to the dump, which I gotta pay as well. So right there, right off the bat, 5 different fucking things that I gotta either pay for or be careful with.
Yeah. And you gotta pay the people that are helping you.
And if I get somebody to help me, yeah, I gotta pay it. So out of those $500, people are like, damn, dude, you just made $500. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
no, I didn't. I made maybe $75.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm like, out of those $500, I'm gonna pay $70. Because I'm like, dude, the fucking junkyard, the fucking electrical, I gotta pay the worker. I gotta say I get a flat tire, dude. That's fucking $40. Say something happens to my truck, now I gotta fucking fix that.
Also, the time that you have to switch up the spare. That's time that you're not at another job.
Exactly. That I lost that job or whatever. And see, that's the thing, though. It's like people don't see that, man. Like they don't see it, but which I think it's a good. I think it's a good thing because we said earlier, miscommunication. I think it's a good thing that upper ups speak with the lower ones, because it's that way they can have an understanding of both. Hey, dude, it's hot as fuck down here. We're working these machines. It's hot as shit. Like, The CEO could be like, you know what? Let's get these guys some fucking coolers. Some air. Coming in here. And okay, now I can do my job a little bit more comfortable. And the CEO could be like, hey, dude, they're killing me up there, man. We're not pushing out the same amount of products. Like, you think you can, pick it up a little bit? Like, what can I do for you so you can pick it up a little, so we can sell more, and, we can be good. Because if I can't sell more, you're out of a job, and I'm out of a fucking business, So I think that the communication between the higher up and the lower down.
Dealing with what I'm dealing with up here, or what we're dealing with down here, and kind of that the head and the hands meet the heart.
Yes, exactly. See, there you go. We just fucking figured out the movie.
Yeah, that's what the movie's about. We're not breaking down the movie scene by scene, but we're breaking down the spirit of the movie. Yeah, this is what Fritz Lang and his wife were trying to do.
And I think that's why you need to watch it. I think you need to watch it.
It's important. Yeah, I'm not saying you watch it every single month, but
no, I mean it's a good movie to watch. It's a good movie to watch. And
if you've never seen it, I encourage everyone to watch it.
Yeah, I encourage people to watch it. Yeah, I mean, besides the fun history of it,
it's just a good movie.
It's a good movie to get some life experience on it. And like I said, we gotta close that gap. So if you're out there and you own a business like I do, make sure that you speak with your lower people.
If you're on the upper class, talk to your workers. If you're the workers, talk to your upper class. Yeah. It's okay. And if either one is not willing to work with you, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck
it's like then you go somewhere else.
Yeah,
you either fire the guy that's on the lower end, or if you're on the lower end, you go somewhere else. Where the higher end that's going to work with you.
Where the hands be gone.
Yeah, I mean that's and for years, Fritz Lang hated that whole theme of the movie, and as he got older, he's like, dude, my wife was 1,000% correct. Yeah, I actually want to watch like the full interviews that Chris Lang did, kind of concerning like this movie and like his movies in general.
Yeah.
Because when he was a younger man, because he did this movie as he was a pretty young guy. I think he was like in his 30s when he did this film. But like as he got older, it's like I was wrong on that. Like my wife was completely correct, and just listening to him like change his mind about his own fucking movie, is like kind of speaks a lot of volumes to that as well.
And hopefully, I love coming up here and talking to you guys. You guys are fucking awesome.
Well, thank you, Val.
You're pretty great
that.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. This time they didn't call, I saw you, but it's okay. Last time they wouldn't open the door for me. No, I mean, I like coming down here and talking to you guys. It's fucking awesome. Next time I come, and you guys are going to have a shoot for you guys. I'm writing a book.
Oh shit! All right.
And it's a pretty fucked up book.
I'm in.
Because I love murder mystery and all that shit, and like.
I thought you were gonna say your autobiography.
I killed these 5 people. It's
Dude,
like
it's a pretty fucked up book, and I've been working on it for a while now. Yeah, hopefully next time I come, it's finished.
I'd love to read it, and
give you a copy before I even fucking take it into.
I'd love a signed copy.
Because I want to put it like on Amazon and stuff. But I don't know, man. I gotta get people's feedbacks on it because it's. I'm telling you, it's pretty.
Dude, like when you get close, I'll read it.
Dude, yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you. But that's a reaction I want. So.
Oh, I don't care if it's fucked up. Just let me read it.
So, but yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming. Like, it's like if you're looking for like a Metropolis review of like us, like kind of breaking down like every scene. Okay, yeah, we're not gonna do that. We kind of sort of did that like in our initial when we did our Silent Month when we talked about Metropolis. We kind of did that. I wanted to talk about like more of the history behind Metropolis, what they did, and kind of like more of like how it means to us, because this is one of those films that's timeless. It does speak to the masses. Oh, go ahead and give me a Rolling Rock if there's one in there. I think there is. This is one that like kind of speaks to the masses in a lot of ways. And if you're interested in the movie, buy the Blu-ray. It's not that expensive. I got it for like $15. It's not that expensive. And not only do you get this like really cool like these film notes by they say the film notes by Bruce Bennett, and it's a good like 4-page like little essay that's in the booklet, and you get like the whole story with the whole restoration of the film, and you get an interview with the film preservationist from Buenos Aires, and like their story about like what happened. So, and then you get the whole like kind of complete, the mostly complete restored film, missing the 5 minutes where they do talk about like what is actually in the scenes, because as far as they know everything that happened in the film. They have all the notes, they have all the score, they have all the stills talking about the film. This is actually we're very lucky that this was a very well documented film. This isn't something that was super obscure, so we're very lucky on that end. And this is just one of the great movies of history. And I know silent film is not for everyone, but if you're a cinephile, silent film should be something that you are looking for, striving to find as much as you can about and learning about, because this is where everything started. And to me, Metropolis is the pinnacle of silent film. They were experimenting and doing stuff that had never been done in silent film, and we'll never recapture that again because we're not in the silent film era anymore. It's that we're in the sound era, and this is something completely different.
Especially
just on the fucking intertitles, dude. It's so amazing. And if you love sci-fi, even better. You're gonna see all your sci-fi favorites: Blade Runner, Star Wars, Equilibrium.
I feel like this one looks like C-3PO.
Yeah, see that's the whole point. Yeah, this is Star Wars. It's C-3PO. The robot that's played by Bridget Helm is C-3PO.
Yeah, it's 3CPO. Yeah. And the material that they use on it gave it kind of that glittery bronze kind of, 3CPO was like a gold color, but
we all know what the color was. It's just like there's no color in this, but we know the color.
Our minds fill it in.
Yeah.
But you'll see little references to it.
Yeah, I mean, what did I didn't quite capture everyone's thoughts. Like, Andy, what are your thoughts on Metropolis? Did you like the film? Did you hate it? Did you? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, absolutely good. No, this movie's great. This movie's great. It's like you said, very relevant. And it's like kind of like the term that we came up with, a lot of cinematic archaeology, where you see where other movies were inspired by this movie, and they do like homages or
it's homages, it's retreads, it's
they
borrowing from
borrow from or outright steal, but in a way it's all kind of good because they were affected by it, so they were inspired. They wanted to do like their own take. Obviously George Lucas saw it because that's how we got seen. Obviously, in Equilibrium, the city of Libria, like when that scene where Christian Bale is coming off of like the effects of the drug that they have them take, and he pulls out the window and he sees like the glory of in the rain, and he sees like the giant building, and it's like that's Metropolis. That's the big building.
And a lot of pictures got their inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you got vision.
Oh yeah.
You got the people under. You got the city up top.
Yeah.
If you look at the city, it also kind of looks like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So, and see, that's what like you were saying. There's a lot of people, a lot of filmmakers. They get their movies like this. This is where it's at. Yeah. Because people take that. How can I make it my own?
Absolutely.
And they do wonderful jobs. I mean, sometimes it comes off cheesy and you're like, okay, that's a straight knockoff.
Yeah.
But when you do it correctly, like Quentin Tarantino does, what's going on? The guy that did Star Wars,
George
Lucas, you do it in your own way, and you make the story work.
Exactly. And I mean, what is it? People I know people were so up in arms about Quentin Tarantino after he did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I fucking love that movie.
His depiction of Bruce Lee, and they're like, "Oh, that's so disrespectful." It's like,
no,
did you not watch Kill Bill? And the basically the love letter to
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
It's like there's
that whole fucking movie is based off that.
Yeah.
That whole fucking, I love it.
If Bruce Lee was half the man that they say he is, then his legacy could stand up to like 5 minutes of ribbing in Quentin Tarantino.
And if he could have cast Bruce Lee in that movie, he would have.
Yeah, of course, dude. And see that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the beauty of cinema and films. Like, you're able to collect from your past and make it your own.
Right.
But sometimes, you pay homage. Like you're like, okay, let me pay tribute to this great person that lived.
I watched Metropolis. I watched these serial films from like the 40s. I've watched this film. It's like, well, this is what I know. Well, I'm gonna take those things that I know. I'm gonna put my own twist on it, and I'm gonna make my film.
Yeah, make my
That's what George Lucas made his whole career on that shit.
Yeah, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at Demolition Man. Demolition Man. Excuse me. When haven't we seen when the fucking guy gets frozen in time?
Yeah. And there's like the Rip Van Winkle. Like, oh, everything's changed.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. It's like, shit. You even got cheesy movies like Encino Man.
Yeah.
Well, hell, we just did a recording on a film called Galaxina. That whole movie is making fun of all these sci-fi greats like Alien, Star Wars, Star Trek. Yeah, it's Spaceballs before Spaceballs.
Yeah. See, there you go. Like Scary Movie. People are like, oh my god, that was like one of the funniest movies. Like, I can't believe people like.
Exactly.
I'm like, dude, you had planes before that. Yeah.
Exactly.
You had planes, So that's what I'm saying. It's like when you watch a film like this and you look at everything, and I think that's the beauty. You're like, wait, where have I seen this before? Like, wait a minute. So, I've seen this movie. I mean, I've seen this in another movie.
Exactly.
So, like when I first saw this movie, and when you were telling me you're going to review it, I watched it, and all these films came to mind, dude. I'm like,
oh my god, there's this,
yeah,
there's
like,
this, there's that.
There's the fucking, you know how they have like the whole thing of like wondering and stuff. Like, that shit kind of reminded me of the Wizard of Oz, like.
Yeah,
you have
in a lot of ways.
And my bad, I'm terrible with names. Like the word of fucking names. So that's why you don't hear me mention the names. I'm the worst, bro. But anyways, so like, you see the movie and you see the film and you're like, oh shit, just like I said, when I was watching it, I saw people on the ground. I'm like, dude, that's Snowpiercer, fucking Demolition Man. You ever watch fuck.
Well, Equilibrium, definitely literally they like almost a shot for shot thing, like of like the workers coming and going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then like you see all these movies that came out over time, and you're like, damn, dude, that's the same fucking plot. Like, it's the same thing, but it's good in its own. You know what I mean? Star Wars, they're good in their own. They made it happen. They were able to write script on here. They were able to, change it up.
Right.
And it worked.
It's different.
And it worked. And it's different. Like you said, I know Avatar isn't,
It's a retread.
As a great fucking film, as
It's not an original idea.
Yeah, exactly. But
story-wise.
But the way that they captured everything and how they filmed everything and how it was able to change.
Yeah, the filming is amazing.
Yeah,
The technology.
dude, that's fucking great, man. You made it work. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you get these old silent films. You get these old black and white films. And you see the bits and pieces that were taken to make the new era movies. And that's what I love about watching black and white and silent films.
Yeah.
And then plus the history of them, and you get your little kick of mystery, because damn, what happened? Like, why didn't they just collect one reel itself? Why did they just have one where we can have it and see the whole fucking thing?
Yeah, even if it was like from like the Brazil cut or
Exactly,
the Russian cut.
Yeah, but at least you have one whole film, which would have been sick. But it took fucking 70 years, I think, right?
This is like an epic journey just to get back to 1927.
Yeah.
It
It took
required
70 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the beauty. Besides the message of the movie that I can see for myself, that I didn't put as, besides that, I think the beauty of it is also the history of it that was lost for so long.
Yeah,
Just like Freaks. Freaks.
Yeah, that
Freaks is
10
another
minutes.
movie that got lost
Yeah, it
for
got lost.
so long.
You got banned, actually.
Yeah.
You got banned. You know, it was banned. You couldn't show it. You know, you got trouble with Patty. You know, and nobody has that scene where the guy gets fucking castrated.
I really want to see that scene.
I know, me too.
I kind of don't, but I'm
I
curious.
really want to fucking see it. I really want
I kind of don't, but I'm curious.
I hope one day someone just goes like, "Yo, my dad was."
I know, my dad had it.
He was a weirdo and he had it. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know, I don't know why, but he only has that scene. You know, but
And he was really into castration.
I know, right? The guys all talking like this, and they're like,
Yeah.
you know. But no, I think that's it adds to the film. It adds to the film that they can put pieces together.
I think that's what makes Fritz Lang's film so special, because people understood, like, there were people that did watch it that understood how good it was, but they were not the majority. And over time, they realized, like, we need to figure out how we can preserve this film. And people discovered it over the years. It's like, why? There's more to this. Obviously, and we gotta keep finding it. We gotta keep finding the whole cut. Somehow, some way, we're gonna find it. And they went on this epic journey.
Yeah, that dedication, man. Yeah.
So not only was the film itself an epic, but people went on an epic journey to preserve this film and get it back to its original glory. And that's what happens. And like I said, the Blu-ray, you know, this is a miracle. Really, this is a miracle.
I think anybody out there, it's good to give it a go once. Give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least once.
Just watch it once. Watch it once. If it's not your cup of tea, if you don't like it, you know what? You watched it. I think it would give some satisfaction to the people that took the time and effort and dedication to put this picture together. You know, it doesn't you know, on their words. You know, it's like they worked hard, they made this happen, and we got a piece of history. So if you're a moviegoer like I am, you know, it's good to watch it once. You know, like, give it a go. If you don't like it, that's fine. You know, but if you do, that's cool. You know, but at least that hard work and dedication for those men and women are cool to put piece of things together. So check it out, man.
Why don't we give our ratings of Metropolis? We usually give out of 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
What would you give Metropolis, Val?
If I was watching the film,
Mm-hmm.
like say I sat down and started watching the film, and I was watching it, I'd probably give it
Oh shit! Okay.
2.5. No, I'm just being honest. Like,
Okay, that's fine.
but no, this is I'm rating it as a person that doesn't know anything else besides.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
You know what I mean? So I'd give it a 2.5.
I'm not judging you.
just based on that.
Just based on that.
But
Slight tip.
yeah. but in my life, how I like it, you know,
Okay, all right.
from what I took.
Yeah.
So you personally are 4, but if you were like just looking at it as
If I was
just like
an
as
If
an
you were a normie,
average viewer, a
If I was
normie,
normie 2.5.
Exactly. If I was just like a fucking average Joe, just got home from work and it's on Channel 5 or on me.
fuck this shit.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck is this, you know? But that's that. But me, since I know about it, since I love
Since
it,
you thought about it.
yeah, and like what I got from it, and really paid attention to it, like,
Andy, what about you?
I'm gonna go about 4.
4? Man, this is hard because this is my absolute favorite silent film. I have a few like that are like of some of my favorites. I love Nosferatu. I love.
I give most of
Dude, that movie slaps. It's awesome.
I love that movie.
I love Phantom of the Opera, with Lon Chaney.
I thought
That's a 5 for me. Fuck Universal for destroying that set. Fuck them. I'm so mad. But Metropolis is right there for me. This is also, for me personally, this is a 5-star movie. This is a movie not only because the movie is good, but just like what we talk about, the history behind the film is so people cared about this film so much that they dedicated their lives to preserving this movie.
I mean,
that has to mean something to people.
The only reason that I'm giving this film as a perspective is just a little slow.
Okay, like I said, I understand. I'm not degrading you on your rating. That's fine.
No. No, I'm telling you that's
explaining.
Yeah, that's the only reason. The storyline is.
Oh yeah, I just.
But other than no,
yeah.
That's when you're saying like what you're saying. No, you're right. It is.
For me, not only is the story important to me because I think it does hold a super important message, but people cared about this film so much that they dedicated their entire life to restoring this film.
Yeah.
That has to mean something.
It does.
Yeah, even like if it's not like the best movie of all time, they cared so much about restoring this film that they dedicated their lives to it. That has to mean something.
Yeah.
And for me,
that's what I'm saying. Like it means, that's what I'm saying. It means to me like people I think out there should see it as
yeah. So like as a collective, we're at a 4.5. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's
like
not.
I'm saying, excuse me. The storyline for me is just
it kind of drags.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Slightest of criticism.
I completely understand that.
Just slightest of criticism.
But I understand.
If it wasn't so dragged out, it'd be for me. Yeah. But that's the only issue.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not a big issue.
The only thing that
I've seen this movie like 4 times. So
I would, what I would have
You're
liked.
saying you hated it.
Yeah. Fuck you, Val. No, what I would have liked to have seen, like with the Blu-ray, which I kind of wish they had done, is where, okay, we have the complete version. That's great. I want to watch the complete version.
Mm-hmm.
What did other countries, like, what did the U.S. what did they cut? What was their cut like? What was?
That is true. Yeah.
What was the Russian cut like? What were these other cuts like? Let's see what they had cut out of it. What did they see it as? I want to see all the different, like, because we have, essentially the entire footage. Why don't we see, like, all, like, different versions of the cuts?
I'm pretty sure.
What was the Russian version like?
I'm pretty sure, like, the people that were, like, communists, they were like, okay, we can't show
People's Revolt.
Yeah, we can't show the revolt.
Well, they have to put it in a way so it's like, it sounds like communist.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, but where it's like more of like this Karl Marx, like the workers' revolt against like the capitalists. What was the U.S. version cut like? The Paramount cut like? What was the
I'm sure out here in the U.S. they were like trying to make the little guy look a lot.
Yeah. What was the South American cut like? I want to see like all the different cuts, like because
I want to see them, but you could also kind of depending on what country, you could probably get an idea.
But at the same time, I would like I said, at the same time, I would love to see like the different like cuts because they have the ability to give us that. I would just love to see it myself. That's all I'm saying. So if I was going to give the Blu-ray a rating, I would say it's a 4-star. Yeah. But the movie itself, 5-star. 5-star rating for the movie.
I give it overall 5-star.
Yeah, it's really great, and I'm glad that to be honest, of all our guests, I was like, when you said like, dude, we got to talk about Metropolis. I was like, Val wants to talk about Metropolis. Hell yeah, let's do it.
I'm telling you, I watched the movie a couple of times. I love how they got found. Like I said, the message that I got. Like I said, the only reason I gave it 4 stars. It's just it does drag.
It does. Okay, I
feel like the story.
I 100% agree.
The story would, if it would have been cut down, but he had to put certain scenes in there so the story could go with each other. You know? But if it was a little shortened, it would have been. You know. But other than that, it's a good movie, man. Everybody should check it out once.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, Space Odyssey. Pretty long.
Yeah.
Check it out once.
Mhm.
But all right, well, that's our review of Metropolis. We did a little bit differently than we would do our normal movie reviews. Val, if people want to reach you, where can they reach you?
ARTE. That's my main Instagram. And anything Hollywood, junk or house cleaner or whatever. Something like that. And I travel to the city and Duffers. And what is called the various junk colors. And Instagram is junk colors. You can always reach me there. I get free quotes and Gmail.
Fuck yeah, you are. I've used you, so yeah.
See, there you go. But yeah, I give free estimates, and so
It's not just the president. He's a member.
Yeah.
Myself, I gotta take shit out of my house too. Yeah, they can reach me right there.
Andy, if they want to reach us, how can they reach us?
What is it? Twitter, Letterboxd at Podcast COJ, Instagram at Circle Jerk Podcast.
All right. Well, that's how you can reach our friend Val. That's how you can reach us. It's been a great episode. I had fun. Did you guys have fun?
Yes.
Hell yeah. All right.
You also get a 5% discount.
There you go.
Oh, fuck yeah.
5% discount.
All right. Well,
And if I drink it there, I leave.
God damn! Like, I wish I had known that before when you called my shit away. God damn it. Anyways, that's been our episode of the Circle of Jerks podcast, talking about Metropolis and various other topics. Thank you for joining us. We will see you on the next episode.
This is